and also on the doorstep of the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. For the Bengal Tigers of LSU, well, it's been disappointing in 1989. They were a preseason top 10 pick by many people, but after 8 games, they show a record of only 2-6. However, we would say that a win here tonight would heal a lot of wounds here in the Tigers camp. Just a few moments ago, Mike Archer was making a final visit with his ball club down in the LSU locker room. Let's listen in.
He has to do that. But talking about it like we talked at the hotel, don't get it. Going out and winning the game is what gets it. Talk is cheap. We're going to go out and win the football game. You win this football game, guys, against the number 4 ranked team in the nation. And it eliminates all the hurt from 6 losses. Because people will remember you by the team that beat Alabama, not the team that lost 6 football games. The one that beat Alabama. And we've had success against Alabama in our 5 years here. We're 3-1-1, and don't bet they don't know that over there. We've gone up to Tuscaloosa, we've gone to Birmingham, we've beat them there. I want to be the first team to beat them in 20 years in this stadium. You put your mind on the wall, you'll put the game on the wall when you win this game here. 20 years.
Kevin Kiley joins me on the telecast tonight, and the one statement that he made says it all. He said, you know, the talk is cheap, but still the fact they are 3-1-1, or he is, against this Bama club, and you'd forget many of the woes of a 6-loss season if you were to knock off the number 14.
You know, I kind of miss those pep talks that you used to have before the game. It brings back certainly a lot of memories, and I think you can see what's on the line for LSU tonight. Again, this year, though, it's been Tommy Hodson has been the main man for LSU. Injuries have hurt their defense. They're not as good as they once were, but Tommy Hodson, through it all, has been a great player. He has been hurt also by youth and inconsistency on the offense, but Tommy Hodson has just stood in there and thrown the ball. He's now the leading passer in LSU history, and the reason because that young offense has grown up and matured around him. It's an offense that's become a force here in the SEC, and a force that Alabama will have to deal with tonight.
Well, for Bill Curry, since he came to the campus of Tuscaloosa in 1987, his one goal, that was to win championship. Now the end is in sight. However, he's still got to get out of this place with a victory tonight, and that's not always a real easy task.
Well, Bill Curry has had some bad luck, I think, at Alabama, Ron. He's had some injuries to key players. The one that comes to mind, of course, is Bobby Humphrey, the great running back. And it looked this year like the same thing was going to happen. His quarterback went down, and then out of the shadows stepped this tall, lean guy, Gary Hollingsworth. And after just playing 5 full games, Hollingsworth has a shot at all the single-season quarterback records for Alabama. His running back, Murray Hill, went down, and then Sir Ann Stacy stepped out of the shadows, if you will, and he's very elusive, and he has been almost impossible to stop. I think what you have to remember here is the talent in the SEC is so strong from top to bottom. Anyone can beat anyone on a given night. And, of course, LSU would like nothing better than to put a little salt in Alabama's sugar roll.
I don't think there's any question of that. And here comes the time. And let's listen to the greeting for the Tigers. College Football Saturday, Alabama versus Louisiana State, is brought to you by Milton Bradley, makers of fine games for the entire family. By Fuji, makers of quality film and camera. Fuji, a new way of seeing things. And by Xerox, the antifreeze coolant for extreme conditions. Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Over 80,000 fans on hand for this one here this evening. The SEC standings, this is what remains of it. Alabama, perfect, 5-0. Auburn at 4-1. Tennessee at 3-1 in conference play. Bill Curry encouraging his ball club. The end is in sight, and that would be New Orleans, Louisiana on New Year's Day, after having won the Southeastern Conference Championship. And for this man, Mike Archer, he is 3-1-1 since coming here to Baton Rouge as the head coach against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Number 17, it is Philip Doyle who will kick it off for the Alabama Crimson Tide, a junior out of Birmingham. And here's Harvey Williams out of Hempstead, Texas, one of the deep backs. And on the other side is number 23, Wayne Williams. Off, and we are underway. Deep to Wayne Williams and out of the back of the end zone. They will hold scrimmage from the 20. And now for tonight's road handler starting lineups. At quarterback, Tommy Hudson, the great one out of Matthews, Louisiana. He'll have behind him tonight. Fuller gets the start at tailback, and Jay Egloff is the fullback. The two wideouts, Tony Moss and Alvin Lee, both great ones. The tight end, Ronnie Halliburton. Up front, Blake Miller, Mr. Consistency at center. Ruffin Rodriguez and Chris Truax are the guards, and the tackles, Jim Hubix and Roger Hutchinson. First play from scrimmage for the Bengal Tigers, and I think we might expect just about anything in this opening quarter tonight from LSU. Running play, they go straight ahead. Fuller runs into the arms of Rayam, and speaking of Rayam, let's check the defensive starters. Woody Wyatt, the best of the down three linemen for the Crimson Tide. He's the nose guard. Thornton and Rayam, who just made the tackle a moment ago, the defensive tackles. There was no huddle, flags all over the place as we come back to live action, and LSU tried to cross up the Crimson Tide, just what we were talking about, no huddle.
They have nothing to lose, Ron, and LSU will pull out all the stops. They'll do whatever they have to do to disrupt the Alabama defense. That backfired.
Illegal procedure. Offensive team, the ball cannot be snapped until it is marked ready for play.
Mike Archer's probably saying, well, that's the way things started off in 1989. Yeah. So anyway, the 5-yard penalty stepped off against the Tigers, and we will... Let's go back to the defense of Alabama after this play right here, which is a 2nd down and 11. Protection. Now runs out of the pocket, has it complete. It is Moss taking it across the 25 to the 27. Let's take a look at the Alabama defense. The outside linebackers, Steve Webb and Spencer Heyman. On the inside, it's John Sullins gets the start tonight, and the great one, Keith McCants. The cornerbacks, two of the very best in the country, John Mangum and Ephraim Thomas. And the safeties, Lee Osment and Charles Gardner. 3rd down Tigers. They need the 30. From the outside for McCants. Pass over the middle is going to be knocked down, and that's Willie Wyatt, the nose guard, who got a hand up and deflected the pass. 4th down, LSU.
Very difficult play for Tommy Hudson to read. The nose guard dropping back into coverage. It was a zone. Watch 98. He'll get up. See him sitting right in the middle of your screen to the top. That's great reaction from a down lineman. That play is open, but Tommy never saw him.
Rene Bourgeois, an average almost 44 yards per punt. Stands back at the 12. Gene Jelks and a single safety for the Crimson Tide. Driving spiral. Jelks at the 28. Across the 35 into the 36. It is McCorvey making the tackle as a flag goes down at the 35-yard line. 45 yards in the kick and 8 on the return.
During the run back, they have holding on the receiving team during the run back. 10-yard penalty, be 1st and down.
So Alabama loses 10. Gary Hollingsworth. What a masterful job this young man has done in relief. He'll have Saran Stacy and Kevin Turner as his running backs. The wide receivers, Marco Battle and Craig Sanderson. The tight end, look for him a lot, Lamont Russell. He's the leading receiver on the ball club, and we'll check the remainder of the offensive front after this first play. Play action to Stacy. Hollingsworth rolls the pocket, pass is tipped, and it is incomplete. Touched by Ventress, the linebacker, coming across in the flat. Now the offensive front. At center, it's George Schultz. Chris Robinette and Trent Patterson are the guards, and the tackles, Vince Strickland and Chapman, probably the best of the offensive linemen. It is Roger Schultz at center, not George. I beg your pardon. This man may run for office as well. Saran Runs into his own blocker, crosses the 30-yard line and in the vicinity of the 33. And let's meet the Tigers on defense. Boutte is the nose guard. The two defensive tackles, Carl Dunbar and Clint James. In fact, all three down linemen are injured. Lawrence and Ventress, the outside backers. At the inside, Reggie Walker and Verge Osbury. In the secondary, it's Jimmy Young and Wayne Williams at the corners. And the safeties, Corey Raymond and Robbie Green. Alabama third down. They need the 36. The draw. Hollingsworth swings it out. It is complete. That's Lamont Russell, the leading receiver on this Alabama football team, the tight end, with his 38th reception of the year at a Crimson Tide first down.
They come out with two tight ends in a balanced formation. Look at number 81, Russell. Now, Ventress, 53, is going to try and take him. He holds him up, but lets him go. He's letting him go to the short flat, which is what LSU was giving up in that defense. Hollingsworth reads it and gets the ball out to him. The defense wasn't bad. The offense just read it.
Hollingsworth again of the play action. Swings it, cuts to Turner as fullback. He's the second leading receiver on the ball club. It is good for 11 yards before Oliver Lawrence knocks him out of bounds.
Well, it's no accident that Alabama's leading receivers are the tight end and the fullback, and no accident that the first two passing plays go to them. And the reason they're doing this is because they can isolate the fullback and the tight end on linebackers like Lawrence. No contest. Turner beat him in the flat. Pick up a first down.
Line of scrimmage, the 49. Picks up 3, maybe 4 yards. Carl Dunbar, the senior out of Opelousas, who was playing literally on one foot. He injured his right foot a couple of weeks ago, and Kevin, he does not work out during the week, which seems almost impossible as far as stamina and having anything for the ball game. Then he suits on Saturday night.
Watches a lot of film. They say that he takes mental reps and he gets the job done, but he does get tired.
Fake to Turner. Hollingsworth under big pressure. Pass thrown incomplete. That's Oliver Lawrence, who was spinning him around back at the 38-yard line. I think the coaches would tell you that the most inconsistent afternoons that Hollingsworth has had since taking over as the starting quarterback is when teams put pressure on him.
Well, pressure is the enemy to any quarterback, especially an inexperienced quarterback. This kid has been a marvel, a remarkable player. But when you have a man in your face, it's very difficult to play that position.
Third down conversions. They need 7 on this one. Hollingsworth gets it away, incomplete, and again he had pressure on him. Fourth down. Rushing the passer was linebacker Verge Osbury. The teams who have tried to rush only 4 have paid the consequences against Alabama this year. But the Tigers mixing up and where they were going to bring people on that opening series. Bill Smith with an average of almost 36 a punt will kick it away to Moss. Very high. Good coverage kick. Signaling for the fair catch and making it is Young at the 15-yard line. 37 yards on the kick. So with 11:39 left opening period, we have no score. ESPN's College Football Saturday, Alabama versus Louisiana State, is brought to you by Jeep. There's only one Jeep. And by Federal Express, the best way to ship it over there. Franklin and Kevin Kiley from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. SEC football from the Bayou Country tonight. And amazingly, the last time that LSU won on home turf against this Alabama football team, 1969. Watson with play action. Now the pressure comes on, and he is sacked. Way back inside the 5-yard line, George Thornton will knock him down for a 12-yard loss. Thomas Rayam also was applying pressure on the play. That was great coverage in the secondary.
Well, the guy to watch, of course, is the linebacker, number 86, Keith McCass. The LSU does a real nice job picking him up. But then they come from the outside and they get hot. In the meantime, Alvin Lee was wide open, about 25 yards in the clear down the middle of the field. If Tommy could have seen it.
Goes to Harvey Williams to the left side, puts a head down, and boy, does he get roughed down by John Sullins, who is getting the start and then left inside linebacking position. Ben Treese Davis with an injury to his ankle last week, so the sophomore Sullins doing good work on that play as he comes out to the 5. It'll be third down, and the Tigers need the 25. There's Harvey Williams. Injuries, as Kevin told you off the top of the telecast, have really plagued him. Out all last year. He returned, and this year in and out of action with a groin injury. 32 carries, 110 yards, and only 1 touchdown. Hudson just throws it away, and it was Willie Wyatt, number 98, coming right up the middle, and a flag is down at the 13.
Ineligible receiver downfield, offensive team. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Willie Wyatt, the best of that front 3, and remember, he had been dropping back in passing situation. He just beats Blake Miller. Miller never even had a chance, and then it was Miller, 57, that released downfield, and he was the one the penalty was called on.
Jelks is the deep man for Alabama. Look at Bourgeois. He takes a step back. It's a safety. Kick, driving spiral. Jelks with a return to the right. Great coverage for the Tigers. He will be nailed back inside the 40-yard line. It is LeBlanc who gets down on the stop. You know, highly criticized last season, Coach Bill Curry this year with an 8-0 start has done a magnificent job with the Crimson Tide. And you know, Gary Hollingsworth has had one of the finest seasons of any quarterback in Alabama history. And Bill Curry will talk to us in just a little bit. Tell us why. Shovel pass. Stacy across the 45 to the 47 as Osbury comes from the middle inside linebacking spot to make the hit for the Tigers. That's going to be a gain of about 6 on the play.
Well, that, of course, is that play that they broke against Tennessee. Went about 75 yards and broke the Volunteers back. LSU did not a bad job on it. LSU has had a problem with inside linebackers. They've lost a bunch of them, and the 2 guys in there are walk-on.
Puts a head down. He has the first down as he crosses midfield again. It is Osbury who makes the stop for LSU.
Tremendous surge there by the offensive line of Alabama. And what they're trying to do is isolate those inside backers. Now, Osbury originally was a walk-on. He's the leading tackler on the defense. Not a great athlete, pretty good against the run. David Walkup will be in there at times, and you'll see Reggie Walker in there at times. And these guys are all walk-ons. Good against the run, not so great against the pass.
Play action by Hollingsworth. Lobs the pass out. Turner can't get it, and that was very dangerous. As coming up in a hurry for the LSU Tigers defensively, Corey Raymond.
Here's a look at the 2 inside backers. Now, Osbury is number 98. Watch, they don't really know what they're looking at. They like to play run. Very late getting out, and had this ball been caught, it wouldn't have been an inside linebacker that made the play. Pass needed to be thrown just a little bit harder. Get it to him quicker so he can turn upfield.
Kevin Turner gets the handoff to the right side. And the junior out of Prattville will take it down just inside the 39. It's Carl Dunbar making the stop for LSU. It's going to be third down for the Crimson Tide, and they need the ball just around the LSU 37. Boy, injuries to that almost entire front 7 of LSU has really caused some problems. Pete Jenkins has done done more than scratch his head. He's had to put it back together with tape and baling wire.
As always, he's done a pretty good job.
Hollingsworth from the shotgun. Over the middle, has a man open. Stacy right at the first down marker. Osbury made the stop. And let's see where they give him a marking here.
Well, again, they attacked that short zone in the middle on the seam there where Osbury was, because he's just not all that good against the pass. Again, a good run backer. Let's watch his reaction. Number 98. He gets back, he reads it, but see, he's just not quick enough to get over there to Stacy. Stacy catches the ball, well-thrown ball, for the first down. Or close.
They are rolling the nose of the football to see if it touches, and it does. Kevin, unofficially, we have Osbury already for 5 tackles in the ballgame. We have not quite played 7 minutes yet.
Well, he's good against the run, and he can expect to see a few passes in his direction. Not unusual that he would make a lot of tackles in this game.
Looking for a blocker. He's finally going to be belted down hard by Young at the 27. Good for 10 yards, though.
Oh, this is a well-thrown ball and a heck of a catch and run by Battle, coming right at you. Now here's Hollingsworth rolling away from his arm, throws this thing into traffic. A nice run by Battle. He beats Reggie Walker and then gets pounded here, but nice run. Good first down by Alabama.
Play selection on first down. 5 passes by the Crimson Tide. Shotgun on first down. Hollingsworth steps up, going for the end zone, just over the outstretched hands of Craig Sanderson.
Robbie Green is there. Robbie, watch 28 here. 28 right side of your screen. He's got it all the way. Looking at Hollingsworth. Now watch. If he was another inch taller, he's got that ball. If that ball was thrown to where it could have been completed, it would have been intercepted. Green, good position there, making him throw it high.
Hollingsworth almost 60% completion. With 12 interceptions. Middle linebacker blitz. You can see it picked up as the handoff goes to Martin Houston. Breaks it big. Has the first down and about 5 or 6 more. As Miguel Ventress put a stopper on him after a gain of 16.
This is all Martin Houston now. This play is designed to go a little further inside, but here comes the inside backer, Osbury. He's going to stuff the hole. Houston immediately reads it outside. And he's going to get a lead back by Chapman. Here comes number 70. Cuts off it, and he's into the secondary where the tackling has not been great for LSU. Robinette also, nice block there.
He's the one that picked up the blitz. Straight ahead with Stacy. Nothing in the middle. He'll take it outside. Most backs would have been dead in the water, and he winds up with a gain of close to 5 on the play. Given a great story in Hollingsworth is when he took over against Kentucky. He came to the sideline after directing his team to a touchdown, and people were congratulating him. The team doctor walked up and said, "Is there anything I can get for you?" And he said, "Yeah, about 25 pounds." He's a real string bean at 6'4", 179 pounds. He shows a great sense of humor. Stacy looks for the end zone. It is caught out of the end zone. Lamont Russell had it, but he was juggling it.
All right, Lamont Russell's the leading receiver. You cannot let him off inside. That's not a chuck. You have to stop him. He's wide open. Anytime a tight end gets into the secondary that quickly on the goal line, he's going to be wide open. LSU dodges a bullet. They need to hold him up at the line of scrimmage. Of anyone, they need to stop Lamont Russell at the line of scrimmage.
Hollingsworth under pressure, throws it deep in the end zone, and it's intercepted by Jimmy Young.
Jimmy Young with a big interception last week to preserve a victory. Hollingsworth expected the pump, to get Jimmy Young out of there. He thought that would make it, and he never changed his mind. Bad decision here because Young never went for it. He was standing in front of the receiver and makes a great interception. Big play for LSU.
Stop him after a gain of 3. One more note on Jimmy Young. The interception that he made last week was against Ole Miss, leading by 5, and the Rebels driving, and he made the interception in the end zone.
He likes it in the end zone. They're going to make a receiver out of him if he's going to catch a ball in the end zone.
This time to Fuller, hurdles a man, has the first down, breaks it out clean for 5 more. Charles Gardner catches him in the open field. It's a gain of 14.
A lot of weapons on this LSU team. Eddie Fuller, the MVP in the SEC last year, coach's MVP. This guy's a good player, over 600 yards last year. And remember the pass he caught against Auburn. Great block by Alvin Lee on the corner on that play.
LSU again with no huddle. For a block, crosses the 40, knocked down in the vicinity of the 41 is Steve Webb, a junior out of Polk, Alabama. Puts the stopper on him. Some other scores today. Number 1, Notre Dame, 59-6. Winning over SMU. Colorado, they were down 14-0. They came back big. Michigan wins over Illinois. Tyson swings it out in second down. Fuller. Oh, what an open field hit. That is Ephraim Thomas, a junior out of Long Beach, California, a junior college transfer, and he did it, made it look just like coaching film.
They threw that thing right into the coverage. Ephraim Thomas was sitting up there, leading the team along with Mangum with 4 interceptions apiece. 2 excellent cornerbacks for Alabama. Very tough to fool.
Tigers with a shotgun, no huddle again. Drills it over the middle, intercepted. Osmond at the 48-yard line.
But it was Mangum that made the play. Mangum, the other cornerback, the guy I said is 2 of 22 passes broken up this year, 4 interceptions. He's tied with Thomas. Now watch this. Look at the recovery here on Moss and the reaction. Gets his hand up, the ball hits Moss, and Osmond right there to pick it off.
So with 4 minutes, 11 seconds left to play in this opening period, still no score. Jim McMahon and the Chargers against Bo and the Raiders. Something tells me a lot of people will be watching that. See, Bo knows ratings
I
too.
will, yeah. Bo knows we'll watch him. We'll run for big yardage.
Stacy Hollingsworth with a good play action. The ball is tipped and it is intercepted by LSU. Who got it? Juan Sendoya. Ventress tipped it.
I'll tell you, these linebackers have had a tough time for LSU all year. They've lost people. They've lost them to injury. Now watch Sendoya, 58. He takes a pop from the tight end, Lamont Russell. Look at this reaction by Sendoya. Oh, another closet wide receiver there. Great catch. And another big turnover. Now, this is just hustle. Watch 58. That's just a great play. Great play.
2 interceptions off Hollingsworth tonight. Hodgson, good protection, forces it over the middle, incomplete, looking for Willie Williams, his big tight end, and it's broken up. Keith McCants was applying pressure. Well, how has Tommy Hodgson fared against the Crimson Tide? Almost 51%, but interceptions far higher than his rate against most anybody else he's played against. He's 2 of 6, 1 interception, 5 yards tonight. Harvey Williams. Oh, does he get tagged at the line of scrimmage? John Sullen steps up into the hole and really knocks him down with conviction.
One of of the reasons you mentioned about Hudson's interceptions, one of the reasons Alabama plays probably more defenses than any team in the conference. And they will change up on you, and they will confuse you. Not only the quarterback, but they'll confuse the wide receivers, and passes sometimes get lost in there.
Ed Zonbreaker said yesterday that the way they squeeze their corners, they disguise. Sometimes it doesn't look like zone. Big pressure on the outside, tries to set up a screen, and there's nothing there. George Thornton, besides the pressure coming up the middle, Thornton had gone out and had just latched on to an LSU lineman. That thing was smelled out on both sides of the field as far as where the action was going to come and where it was going to go.
And they're going to play. Good play by Hodson. It was grounding, but it was on a 3rd down.
Intentional grounding. Offensive team, 5 yards, a spotted foul, loss of down.
Boys, so the Tigers, the new line of scrimmage, back at the 10, and the Crimson Tide sends back Jelks. They stand to get really good field position. Bourgeois done a super job tonight as you look at Jelks. Booming spiral. Fair catch is signaled for and is made at the Alabama 47-yard line. 43 yards in the kick. Just over 3 to play. Alabama and LSU. No score. 3:09 to play opening period. Tied from their own 47. Hollingsworth sets a screen to the short side of the field. It's Stacy. Inside the 40, has a blocker in front, and will be knocked out of bounds at the LSU 27 by Robbie Green.
All right, screen pass against this team shouldn't really be all that successful. The inside backers get caught up in it. There's not going to be any inside pursuit. Now look at the blockers out front. This is a team that contains very well. They play a soft kind of defense, and they'll give you the underneath and then tackle you for a short gain. That is a play that generally will not work against LSU.
Derek Lassick, the ball carrier, right up the middle, burst his way for close to 10 yards in the play. And they're going to spot him down just shy of the 16. Derek Lassick, 5'11", 185, only a sophomore out of Haverstraw, New York.
Player of the year in New York. You wonder how he went to Alabama. He always wanted to go to Alabama, even though he was from New York. Great player. When he came to Alabama, he was Derek Owens. His dad's name is now Derek Lassick.
Straight ahead with the handoff inside the 10-yard line. It'll be a 1st and 10 for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Actually, it's inside the 15. They're going to mark it just around the 12-yard line. Well, defensively, this is probably something that Mike Archer figured that Alabama would do, and that's just line up and run at them, particularly with all the injuries that they've had up front, with Dunbar being crippled, Boutte being crippled, also Clint James, and with all the substitutions they've had to use at linebacker. Lassick breaks it open to the right side at the 5, and he is down to the 4. Corey Raymond saved a touchdown. Good heavens, Stacy goes out of the ball game. Lassick comes in, and you don't lose a step.
Looks a lot like him, doesn't it? Very quick. Watch him read here. Watch him step outside. Looking for the isolation block from the fullback. He gets it off the corner. Osbury, 98, caught inside a little bit. And Lassick just so quick. 5'11", 185 pounds, and he can move.
Stacy back in the lineup, along with Martin Houston. They fake it to Stacy. Pass is going to be well overthrown, looking for Martin Houston, who had come out of the backfield, but LSU was not fooled and had good coverage on the play. You see Derek Lassick being told what the play is that they want to run, coming in from the far sideline. As Bill Curry gets closer to what has been a dream ever since he came to the Tuscaloosa campus, and that is winning the championship. Lassick to carry it, left side, and he is going to be denied the end zone. Reggie Walker, left inside linebacker, steps up into the hole and pushes him back. He did get the first down, though.
Across the formation, and he'll leave his feet to get this. Pushed back, but he did have. It was third and about a yard, and he made it.
Just over a minute to play in this opening period, and the Crimson Tide first and goal. Stacy. Stacy with his 14th touchdown of the year, and that familiar sound from the Alabama band strikes up as Philip Doyle comes in to attempt the extra point. Knocks it through for a 7-0 lead for the Tide.
Our difference in this play is Stacy attacks on offense, but Osbury will catch him on defense instead of attacking him. Watch 98. Like a center fielder, you're going to see him come up catch Stacy. Him catch him, he takes another step and drives him with him in the air. He can keep him out of the end zone. Instead, he just made the catch. Watch it from the side. A better shot here. See how he goes for the end zone? But Osbury catches him. Momentum takes him in.
Having a couple of things that led to the drive, the grounding penalty. Although LSU got away a good punt, still the Crimson Tide has continued to work with really good field position, and it shows that when you can punt the ball no further than midfield, you give it up so much ground, you put your defense in jeopardy.
The thing that Alabama did, I think, is they have balance, and by balance, as you look at a couple of scores, Maryland is a surprise against Penn State. When they talk about offense, Houston clobbering Texas. When they talk about balance on offense, Bill Curry says we can pass and run anywhere on the field. It has nothing to do with 10 pass plays versus 10 running plays. It's we will do anything anywhere, and that's balance, and that's what they did on that drive.
Doyle's kickoff, and this is going to Harvey Williams' side at the 2. Oh, what a hit at the 23-yard line, as you can hear the headgears coming together. London downfield making the stop. We'll be sure to be with ESPN tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. NFL Game Day. Chris Berman and our Emmy Award-winning crew as they preview the day in the National Football League. Then at 7 o'clock, we're back with NFL Primetime, and you'll see highlights of every game played tomorrow. Then at 8 o'clock, NFL coverage continues. Bo Jackson and the red-hot L.A. Raiders taking on the San Diego Chargers. McCants coming from behind, and he just engulfed him at the 30-yard line. Folks, this guy is 6'5", 256 pounds.
Yeah, McCants is an interesting story. He's a twin, but his twin brother died at birth, and soon after he came to Alabama, both his dad and his brother died. And he has dedicated his play to his family. They say he will be the best ever at Alabama when he's done. Better than all of them, even Cornelius Bennett.
Alabama showing blitz, picked up by LSU. Fuller has the first down. Again, it's McCants along with Thomas Graham, who will wrap him up around the 38-yard line. Fuller has been very successful in running the ball. Very strong. He's 5'10", 199 pounds. But probably the thing that fools you more than anything is his strength.
He is the inside runner. Harvey Williams is the outside runner, and they need to bring both of those guys to establish an offense.
Into the quarter. Crimson Tide 7, and the Tigers nothing. We'll be right back. Second quarter about to get underway. Tigers trailing 7-0 as you take a look at Mike Archer squatting down on the near sideline. crossing the 45 to the 46. Steve Webb, a junior out of Holt, Alabama, making the stop for the Crimson Tide.
Well, one of the things that LSU needs to do if they establish this running game, they can slow down those inside backers. 86 McCants, he takes a false step, and he's going to get a block right in the nose by Ruffin Rodriguez. That's a good block. Gives Fuller a little time to move in there, and it'll also slow down the pass rush later on.
Pitch to Fuller, tries the right side, and it is Willie Wyatt from the nose guard position who comes to make the tackle. Boy, for 6 feet 266, he's got great lateral movement.
But he alone on the defensive line, number 98, does have that. And see, everybody is going to the right, so Willie steps inside it, flattens out, and chases down Fuller. Now, the guy they would like to run that play is Harvey Williams, who's a little quicker than Fuller.
Two tight end alignment for the Tigers. They're 0 of 4 on third down conversions tonight. Hudson wants to throw. Pressure coming after him. Gonna have to hurry, and he's going to be called for grounding again. McCants was all over him. Jimmy Harper couldn't get the flag out of his pocket for a moment. Same scenario as the last series.
Well, with one difference. Now, Tommy Hudson is arguing that he was going to throw the ball to Ronnie Halliburton, number 89. In the previous play, the only one that was close was Hutchinson, the tackle. Watch. Tommy's going to roll this way, and right here he's caught. He lets go of the ball. Now, clearly the ball could have gone anywhere. Look at the speed of McCants getting to him. The ball could have gone anywhere, but it was in the direction of Hutchinson, who was standing over on the right side of the field. I think they picked up the flag.
They did pick up the flag, and I guess what I meant by the same scenarios, but LSU was going to get penalized 10 yards again and lose the down, but they picked it up. Jelks, the deep man for Alabama. Bourgeois, as this one turns over, Jackson, oh, what coverage downfield. That is Corey Raymond. 45 yards in the kick and a loss of 2.
LSU has been giving up over 16 yards a punt return. Jelks makes the catch. Raymond had a dead beat on him for 15 yards before he caught that ball.
Kevy was lucky to catch the ball. You could see it come off his face mask first. He had to extend the arms to grab it up. Worst field position for the Crimson Tide so far tonight. Stacy, and he is going to be wrapped up. Big number 70, Clint James, senior out of New Orleans, and they say fumble, LSU football. Storyline on this one tonight, and we'll check in after we look again at the fumble.
Clint James, number 70, one of the players that have been injured throughout the year. He hits Stacy, and then he gets a little help on the other side there. And a fumble. That was Carl Dunbar with the bad foot coming from the other side to pick the ball before he hit the ground, and it is LSU's ball.
Ventress comes up with the ball. You could see the fumble just right off the ground. Harvey Williams inside the 5, and he's down to the 4. Keith McCants will wrap him up.
Bill Curry made a point to us yesterday. He said the team that usually wins this game is the team with the least turnover.
He has 3 tonight. 2 interceptions and now a fumble. Williams again. Clobbered at the line of scrimmage. Sullins is the man who hits him. He fights his way inside the 2-yard line.
You have to understand as you watch this fumble again that Carl Dunbar has not practiced since the Auburn game. Number 63, they say he's just smart. How smart is that? He picked that ball right out of Stacy's hand on the move.
Harvey Williams comes position. Kinchin chose not to stay with his blockers outside. Thought he ought to cut it up inside.
Well, I think there was a hole there when he makes the decision. See if there isn't a hole there, and then Gardner jumps in it. Here comes Kinchin, thinks he can cut inside, but Gardner, what a reaction. Great football position, keeps his balance, and knocks Kinchin down.
Brown Dyke, 8 of 8 on the year in field goals. And we have a 7-3 ball game with 11 minutes, 34 seconds. Brown Dyke from 19. ESPN's College Football Saturday, Alabama versus Louisiana State, is brought to you by Mazda, Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. By the Shower Massage from Teledyne Waterpick. It's the original. And by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And following a fumble by the Crimson Tide inside the 10-yard line, the Tigers come away with 3. To around the 24, Robert Jones, a short man, taking it for Alabama, as Brown Dyke did not hit that one quite as deep as he normally does. As we take a look at the storyline so far in this one. Total offense, Alabama leading by almost 100 yards. LSU 3 points off 3 turnovers. Stacy, 28 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, and the average on first down, Alabama clearly with the edge there. Rolls the pocket, has it complete. Lamont Russell across the 40, and he's out to the 45.5-yard line. Jimmy Young finally stops him, but it's a gain of 23.
It's a drag pattern by Lamont Russell on the other side. Having a linebacker on. This is the tight end on the side that Hollingsworth is rolling. What he does here, they get the coverage here, and then they go to the secondary tight end, Lamont Russell, on a drag pattern. Nice throw. And into the secondary again.
Shotgun formation, shovel pass. This is Lassett. Turns the corner. Into LSU territory at the 49, and Oliver Lawrence stops the run.
Well, I tell you, Ron, that was excellent line play by LSU, specifically Clint James, number 70. All the action went one way, but the blocking, the line, it was very strange. The line, the defensive line of LSU went with the blocking, never looked at the ball, and the ball came right to them.
Another shovel pass. Lassett, this time to the right side, loses the football, and he gets it back at the 45. Walkup is the man who made the contact on him. And with that little bobble of the ball, he may be about a half-yard shy.
Coming into this game, Alabama had dropped the ball just 10 times and lost 4 of them. They're not a fumbling team. Again, a shovel pass. Lassett into the line. He has it right here. He looked like he was stretching it out, trying to stretch it out, and he lost it. Somehow he got it back.
Third down to just inches, as they don't need to get all the way to the LSU 44. Stacy will have the first down. Not much more than that as he gets some rude treatment. Osbury, the first man to put a shoulder pad on him. Osbury with a very good ball game tonight. The coaches say he has played well, but on the other hand, he has been kind of hot and cold during the '89 season.
Well, he's just not a great athlete. He's just a kid who stays in there and hangs in there and plays tough. But he doesn't have great ability. He just plays hard. Sometimes that's enough. It's been enough for him.
7-3, Tide lead, second period. Play action by Hollingsworth. Now the pressure comes out. In the flat, has it complete. That's Prince Wembley, and it'll be pushed out of bounds at the 28-yard line by Lawrence again, but it's a gain of 16.
this to the offensive line. They did a tremendous job pass blocking for Hollingsworth. Gave him plenty of time for Wembley to come back and get that ball.
West Virginia pulls it out. Georgia wins their ball game. BYU, that is now final. They win over Air Force. Straight ahead with the handoff. Kevin Turner takes it at left tackle. Mark Boutte will grab him behind the blocking of Strickland and Robinette on that left side.
David Walkup, number 85, playing in the defensive line for Mike Archer and LSU, playing linebacker with a bad foot, was dragged about 3 yards. There's about 8 bad feet out there on 8 different players.
Inside the 15, still driving inside the 10. It's got to be first and goal, Crimson Tide. Ventress had a hole, but he couldn't do anything with it.
Inside linebackers need to flow to the ball. Remember, it's going to go to the bottom of the screen. See Osbury looking straight up the middle. Gets hooked by the offensive man. Gets into the block. You'll see it again. Some good blocking by Alabama. Crunching block there. And Houston finds the seam, and now he's loose in the secondary. That's not good.
Stacy breaks out of the tackle. At the 1, he'll score. Sure, it appeared at the 5, and second effort at it all the way to the goal line. Philip Doyle tries to put point number 14 on the board, and he does. So the Crimson Tide, with 8:34 left until halftime, goes in front by 11.
There's some pretty good blocking on this play, but mainly it's Saran Stacy. They say he's elusive. Nothing elusive about this. Watch Corey Raymond. Hits him on the 6-yard line. Saran Stacy all the way. His knee goes down, but the ball goes in from behind the defense. Houston with the lead block. Great run.
Jacobs with a return from the 5 for LSU. Out to the 24s. You can hear the popping of the pads. Teague, one of the first men downfield, along with London on the special teams for the Crimson Tide. And now the Tigers down 14-3. Extremely important that they get some offense working and some points before they go in at halftime.
Alabama doing such a great job of disguising their defenses. You can see total yards way out of whack. They disguised their defense. Tommy has not been able to check off, get the protection he needs, or get his people downfield.
Under pressure, picks up a block pass, is thrown complete, and now Marker comes down. Alvin Lee held on to it, but he was in the grasp of a Crimson Tide player. That's the reason for the yellow flag.
I don't know that Alvin held on to it. I think it wedged between his 5th and his 6th rib.
Defensive interference. First down, automatic first down, spot the foul.
This is excellent coverage by Alabama, but a super pass by Tommy Hodson. And Lee, tough holding on to this thing. That's a bullet. Mangum all over him on the back. It's a completion.
The 35 to the 37, Thomas Rayham will put it into the run. Well, the student athlete of the game is brought to you by the U.S. Army. Get an edge on life, be all you can be. And tonight's recipient, Alabama quarterback John Mangum. He is a finance major with a 3.2 grade point average and a 2-time member of the All-SEC academic team. He is out of McGee, Mississippi. John Mangum.
And one heck of a cornerback on top of it.
Fuller tries to get outside. Alabama turns him back inside, and he is popped down at the 40 by Keith McCants. LSU wanted to get it outside and turn the corner, and Kevin, the defense, did a good job of containment.
Very fast linebackers and a tremendously quick middle guard. Wyatt reads it, backs off actually, and is playing linebacker. As soon as he backs off, gets up on his hind legs, he's lateral, and he's quick going laterally, makes the tackle.
Well, for the Tigers, they need the 42. Fuller now 9 carries, 57 yards. Fuller down over the middle, didn't see him. Turns it up, and he's going to get back maybe to the line of scrimmage. That's it. Willie Wyatt again.
Tommy Hudson having a very tough time recognizing the defensive coverages. He doesn't really know what he sees out there, and he's very hesitant. He had some time, but he just couldn't pick out a receiver. Alabama doing a great job of disguising their coverages and staying on LSU receivers.
They had Fuller going deep, and he broke open for a second as the Alabama secondary tried to get back to him. This is Bourgeois. Booming spiral. Not going to turn over. Jelk signals for the fair catch down at the 20-yard line. You know, Gary Hollingsworth has had one of the finest seasons of any quarterback, in fact, in Alabama history, and Bill Curry told us why.
Whatever happens, Gary remains calm. Usually calmer than the rest of us. And that's something that's almost incalculable for him. Unitas had it. Starr had it. And in that respect, Gary is similar to those kinds of people.
This is Houston going to be banged at the line of scrimmage. He'll fight it forward for maybe one as Osbury puts it into the road for him. Hollingsworth, the most action he had seen at Alabama was in an Alabama baseball uniform as a pitcher. He was 2-1 last year with a not so good ERA.
Well, he had not played spring. Everybody says, where did he come from? He had not played spring football for Alabama. He chose baseball, although he was on the football team. A year ago, he decided to go with football full-time. A couple of injuries, he stepped in. As Bill Curry said, he can handle the job.
Fake to Stacy. Pass in the flat, that's Turner. And he's going to be tackled immediately at the 25-yard line. Good defense by the LSU Tigers is 28, Robbie Green. A redshirt freshman out of Gretna, Louisiana, comes up to make the stop. Robbie Green, 16 interceptions his senior year in high school. Yeah, I think he can cover.
They've got some young players on this team, LSU's team. In fact, 44 players on the team are either freshmen or redshirt freshmen. They've had some problems with the upper class, and we'll talk about that.
Hollingsworth rolls the pocket again. Has time, gets it away. Was he inbounds? Yes, at the 33. Sanderson with the catch. The official was right there in front of the LSU bench. He paused for a moment and said, yep, reception.
Well, most quarterbacks would have run with this, but Hollingsworth is noted for his ability not to run. He's very, very slow. Nice catch and throw. Good play by Sanderson getting his foot in.
Clint James just had to come out of the ball game. He has been suffering from a lower abdominal injury and in fact has been in the hospital. Didn't play last week. Hollingsworth shotgun out in the flat. Turner again, 40 to the 45, and it's a tied first down at the 46. Wayne Williams, the right cornerback, is there to finally make the tackle.
Well, the reason they throw to the fullback is because normally the fullback is the responsibility of the inside linebacker. Now, Shannon Cornelius was in the game, number 47 for LSU, and he didn't have a clue. He hasn't played all that much, and they isolated Turner on him, and he was wide open in the flat.
Fake to Stacy. Battle at the 50-yard line. Puts on a move, and because of that, he'll wind up with 5 more yards. Green makes the stock on him. It's a gain of almost 9 yards. 14-3. Alabama on top. We're about to go under 4 minutes to play until halftime. The Crimson Tide 8-0. If they win the Southeastern Conference, it'll be the first time since 1981 that they will have done so. Stacy with a pitch, turns it up, first down and more, inside the 35, and he's down to the 34. Green making another stop, but this is a situation where you don't want your safety having to come up and use his shoulder pads. Yeah, what a game Green is playing. Here's your inside backers now. It's Walkup and Osbury. Dunbar gets pushed back. Good block by Houston on Osbury, and that's what Stacy does so well. He finds that seam, and bang, he's through it and into the secondary. Shotgun on first down, and the Tide will throw on first down. Screen to the left, it's Turner. 3 blockers in front. Puts a hit down. He's going to be inside the 20-yard line. Osbury making the stop after a gain of 16. Final score for the Astrodome, 47-9. The Houston Cougars, and look at Andre Ware, 420 yards. How about Duke? They're having a great year, Duke. And Texas Tech, a very fine football team. They're 7-2 on the year, as is Fresno State, 24th in the nation. Sharon Stacy, 5, 10, 11 yards. Green with the defensive play. It is going to be first and goal, Alabama. Some nice blocking on the left side of this line. Watch Robinette there with a turnout block, and then a missed tackle there. Green hanging on for dear life. And LSU's, to be fair to LSU, a lot of people, as you look at Stacy right back, a lot of people on that field, young, and a lot of them playing with injuries. Not small injuries either. Stacy throws the ball. It's on the ground, and I believe that LSU's Oliver Lawrence, yes, has made the recovery. Number 99, wearing the purple and gold for the Tigers, has played extremely well this year, and another case of it right here. There he is, right side of your screen, Lawrence. He's going to meet the block. Stacy never had it. It was in the handoff, and now it's loose in the pile. And you can see him. There's the old 99 digging for it, Oliver Lawrence, and he comes up with it. Make him run a lot of plays. You know, that's LSU's philosophy defensively. Make him run a lot of plays, something will happen. Take to Harvey Williams. Quick out pass comes to Moss. Does the smart thing. He'll get out of bounds to stop the clock. Just around the 17. Ephraim Thomas defensively. Key player, Tony Moss. They need to get him the ball. 47 receptions for almost 700 yards coming in. You can see that. You can see what a key he is to the offense. Get him the ball. Get him turned upfield. He can really do things when he gets the ball. That's 4 turnovers against the Crimson Tide tonight. 2 interceptions and now 2 fumbles. Williams again. He will have the LSU first down. Spencer Heyman, the outside linebacker, makes the stop. Clock will be stopped momentarily following the first down pickup with 2:20 remaining until intermission time. You wonder why LSU runs the ball. They run the ball because it'll simplify the Alabama defense. They can get Alabama to become predictable defensively if they can hurt them with the run. Far sideline overthrown. Tony Moss out of Bossier City is the man he was looking for, and John Mangum had the coverage. Alabama, as we mentioned off the top of the telecast, with 2 of the best corners, not only in the Southeastern Conference, but the entire country, and Ephraim Thomas and John Mangum. 2:03 left until halftime. And of course, at halftime, Chris Fowler will bring you up to date on what has happened this college football Saturday. Hudson with a slot formation. Harvey Williams, I beg your pardon, 22 rather than 26. Just a little bit behind him.
Well, if Harvey Williams catches this ball, it's a terrific catch. Ball thrown low and behind him, and Harvey makes a tremendous effort getting back to even come close. When he hit the ground, the ball came loose.
14-3, Alabama on top. The stats on Hodson, only 3 of 11, 12 yards. Outside pressure against the shotgun as a marker goes down. The sack will be disallowed as Osmond was coming on a blitz. But I guess illegal procedure against the Tigers.
False start, illegal movement in the offensive line. Play will be replayed, 5-yard penalty.
Bill Curry. A very svelte Bill Curry compared to, he wasn't real big when he played center in the pros. I guess he said the biggest he ever got was 242 pounds. But
He said he was 235 when they played the even defense, and he was uncovered. As soon as they started putting tackles over him, he had to bulk up to 242.
Tigers need the 34. Heavy pressure again. Hodson back over the middle, incomplete at the 28. Lee just couldn't get there, and Mangle was all over him. And now, with the clock having stopped a couple of times, Alabama stands to get decent field position with some working time.
Steve Webb coming from the corner, and what Alabama is doing, they're just disguising everything they do so well. Tommy's not able to check off and get the protection he needs. Webb runs around the blocking, chases him out of the pocket, and he has no chance. It's just great defense by Alabama.
Bourgeois has been a busy man in this first half, his 6th punt. They're coming after him. Oh, beautiful, beautiful kick. Jelks all the way back to the 32. And with the block on, not much protection downfield for Jelks. 49 on the kick, 9 on the return. College football Saturday. It all started at 11:30 Eastern time this morning with Chris Fowler in the group. They will be back at halftime to update you on today's games. 1:37 left until the halftime. Hollingsworth going to air it out and has it complete at the 37-yard line. That's Prince Wembley. Alabama with no huddle. Again from the shotgun. Hollingsworth looking to the open side of the field, this time overthrown. Marco Battle was the closest man to it. Jimmy Young fell down, and he was disgusted. He thought he might have had a shot at an interception. I don't think he's that tall, though. Do you, Tim?
No, not yet. He may still be growing. Lamont Russell was loose in the middle of the field. You know he'll go back and tell Gary Hollingsworth. The thing about Hollingsworth, too, he's 6'4", as tall and skinny as he is. He can throw over the line easily.
Tied with all 3 timeouts left. They try to set screen with an upside. He just throws it away as the marker comes down back at the 45-yard line. And now 2 more downfield. And LSU saying, hey, turnabout is fair play. I think they're asking for an intentional grounding call.
That's just a good play by Hollingsworth. I can't imagine that they would call that on him. He threw it way over the head of the receiver, but definitely in the direction of Stacy.
Carl Dunbar was coming fast at the quarterback, Gary Hollingsworth.
You were holding offensive line, 10-yard penalty.
They watch Dunbar, number 63. He's getting held but good there by Terrell Chapman. And that's what the call is.
You could hear Jimmy Harper. He had asked him, who was holding? He said, you were. Out in the flat. That pass is overthrown, intended for Turner. Hollingsworth has had a couple of float on him here, particularly when he's throwing to the open side and to a right-hander. That would be the natural side that the ball would get away from you a little bit. Second down for the Crimson Tide. We have 1:09 until halftime. And to pick up the first down, they need to go just inside the LSU 28.
The thing that's worked for him are the curl ends along the seam, along the hash marks, about 15 or 20 yards down.
Third down. Hollingsworth gets it out in the flat. Stacy at the 35-yard line. Davidson makes the tackle for LSU. A timeout has been called, so with 58 seconds left until halftime, we're going to hold it for just a second here. Yep, they are going to take the break. Let's take it with them. Oh, that's Bill Smith, the Alabama punter. LSU doesn't believe he's going to punt, as the defense has stayed at the line of scrimmage rather than the special teams. Pooches it inside the 5, and they miss it into the end zone for the touchback.
First down, Tigers.
So the Tigers get it back with 48 seconds left on the clock. Coming up at halftime, the USF&G halftime report, Chris Fowler. And he will have scores from around the country and highlights of today's big games. Coming up at halftime, just 48 seconds away. 14-3, Alabama leads. The Tigers, with Fuller carrying the ball, will take it for a gain of 8, maybe 9. George Thornton, the left defensive end, makes the stop, and the Tigers, it appears, just going to run that clock out.
All right, they're going to take some heat for it too, I think.
Watching patiently on the sideline. He said this is one of the toughest things he's ever had to go through this season. Fuller again will pick up the first down, but Cantz will wrap him up. Ball comes loose. Alabama is on the football, and it is Tide's ball. Gardner makes the recovery.
Well, the one thing you have to be careful of, if you're going to run the ball out, which is what they're going to do, then go down when they hit you. And Eddie Fuller, too much of a competitor here. Watch him. They've got him, and now they're going to strip it. See that? You got to go right down if you're running the clock down. But Fuller just standing up, fighting for yardage for no reason. He allowed Charles Gardner to pull it loose.
Alabama has 3 timeouts left. They got all of them. They go from the 30. At the 5-yard line.
All right, battle loose deep down the sideline, and Hollingsworth's going to find him. Here comes James. Chapman does a nice job on the protection, and then a bullet. Battle, a dead spot again in the zone. Coverage not there, and he's down to the 5-yard line. It's going to be a field goal attempt.
5 seconds showing on the clock. Doyle to make the attempt inside the 40. He's perfect this year. This will be a 27-yard effort. So an LSU fumble inside of a minute to play until halftime, and Alabama extends their lead now to a 2-touchdown margin.
Very, very tough for LSU there, trying to get into the locker room, and then running the ball out, just like the end of the game here. If you're going to run it out, watch Fuller. That's really not Eddie Fuller's fault. He's trying to get yardage, but right there, he's got the ball up, and then Gardner comes in and does exactly what he should do. Strips the ball and gets the ball back for Alabama, but no reason to go for that extra yard.
I have a feeling that Mike Archer was thinking they've still got all 3 timeouts, so if we run straight into the line or just go down on one knee, that they would call timeout, stop the clock, and get it back. He certainly didn't expect that to happen, and it cost him 3 points. You know, the start of this year, the opening kickoff, and we had the ball game at College Station, Texas. Horton went 93 yards with the kickoff return, and it almost was an omen for the LSU Tigers for 1989. Those are the kind of things that have happened to him. Victor Jones on the return. Still on his feet across the 35 to the 37, and the clock will run out, and they head to the locker room. The chorus that you hear from the partisans here in Baton Rouge is not that of cheers. Alabama 17, the LSU Tigers 3. And now let's hear from Chris Fowler. He'll tell us what has happened today.
Okay. $1 Million Band. Alabama trying to go to 6-0 in the SEC lead. You love what you see.
Alabama's got a type of team that can win a national championship. Don't forget them. They can still win the national championship by winning them all.
Okay, we'll be back here after the game with a scoreboard show. Catch you up to date on all the scores and highlights. Let's go back now to Baton Rouge. Standing by for the second half, Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley.
Chris, thanks so much. Nice job today substituting for Bob Carpenter. There you see the score, 17-3 at halftime. Alabama leading over LSU. Mike Archer had them in the locker room for a long time. They have just returned. Long talk.
I was talking to Mickey Guidry here up here in the booth, former quarterback for LSU at halftime, and he was telling me that that last year against Alabama they did the same thing. Alabama's defense dominated early, and Mickey came in the game and got the thing turned around, and I asked him what he had done, and he said, well, he was just determined when he went out there to make a completion. The first guy that came open, he was going to bang the ball to him, and that's what he thought Tommy Hodson to do. Get it, something to make a little positive going, get the guys to play a little bit harder, and maybe you can get something going. Of course, LSU did come back in that game and beat Alabama at Alabama. Not bad advice.
The first half stats tell the story of just how dominating this Alabama club has been. 220 total yards, and in first downs they have an edge of 20-4. Turnovers, Alabama leads 17-3. They have 4 turnovers in the ball game. 338 total yards for the Crimson Tide. Number 4, David Browndyke out of Dallas, Texas. The senior will kick it off. Jelks and Pierre Good. That's a look at Jelks right there, and Good, the 2 deep men for Alabama. It's going to be a short kick at the 20-yard line. A return, they try to take it to the right, breaking the tackle out of the 30 to the 33-yard line, Robert Jones. Alabama possessions, and this right here also tells a great story as far as what the Crimson Tide has done tonight. Intercepted on that second drive. Touchdown on the 4th. 7 plays in that one. Then a fumble. Then a touchdown on 8 plays. Then another fumble. And then a punt on that final drive to end the first half. When you see LSU's drive chart of the first half, you'll get a better understanding of how dominant they have been. Hollingsworth, Turner out on the flat, breaks off a tackle, brings it to the 40, still on his feet, and almost to the 41. Lawrence and Osbury on the tackle. Pete Jenkins told us yesterday, he said, we have not been a good tackling team this year.
They have had problems, and remember, this guy is the leading receiver and a fullback. That's pretty tough when you isolate a fullback and let him get squared up. Now, Turner's wide open in the short flat, and they get the ball to him. And now look, when he gets squared up, Young has no chance. Jimmy Young comes up, tries to make that tackle in the open field, and gets run over.
the middle. This is Houston. Martin Houston, a sophomore out of Center, Alabama. He will have the first down at about 6 more. Out to the 47.5-yard line. David Walkup, one of the inside backers, makes the stop.
I can tell you what Bill Curry told his team. He said, we have this game in our hands, and we get the ball. We've got to put it in the end zone. And they're going to put everything they have into this drive and try to put LSU out of the game right here.
21 first downs for the Crimson Tide. Martin Houston again. They grab him by a leg as he goes inside the 45. Oliver Lawrence holding on for dear life, and he's close to another first down.
Martin Houston is a player that spent a year and a half on the scout team for Alabama. As a junior in high school, he was recruited very heavily by Tennessee, and then they dropped off. There was very little interest. As a senior, he went to see Alabama play Tennessee in Knoxville, and one of his teammates in high school was in the game for Alabama. He was on the Tennessee sideline. He jumped up and started cheering when this kid scored a touchdown, and all of a sudden there was no interest.
Is going to run. He'll slide in very wisely at the 33. That is close to another first. Reggie Walker, who had just come into the ballgame replacing David Walkup, makes the stop. In case you missed the first half, the dimensions on Hollingsworth, each is not real big. At not real big, he's not real meaty. At 6'4", 179 pounds.
It goes through a hole sideways. Doesn't have to be much of a hole there.
He's going to go long and looking for the mound. Down, nice defensive play, Robbie Green.
The Greens played a whale of a game. Now this is a tremendous fake by Hollingsworth on short yardage. He put the ball behind him, puts it behind him. Here's Houston. Now he goes up and over like he has the ball. Hollingsworth will put the ball behind his back and stand there, and then Green is not biting. He's right there. Nice play by Robbie Green.
Duran Stacy behind the block, turns the corner, going to be knocked out of bounds at the 25 by Green. First and 10, Alabama Crimson Tide. You know, the way Hollingsworth faked that thing a moment ago, I thought the play had been whistled down when he put it on his hip and just stopped for a second.
Well, you have to have a lot of confidence in your offensive line, certainly your left tackle, to turn your back on that side and put the ball behind your back.
This time and first down as Carl Dunbar will grab a hold of Stacy and knock him down. Another interesting number in the first half of 49 snaps from center. Alabama did not have a negative yardage on a single play.
That's your offensive line right there. Good job by that offensive line. Strickland and Robinette, Schultz, Patterson, and Chapman for the most part for Alabama. They've done a great job.
From behind, drops the football, recovered by LSU. Carl Dunbar.
We just talked about that offensive line. It's going to be number 69, Vince Strickland, and number 70, Clint James. Clint James is a guy that they had to pack in ice. He was so sick before the Kentucky game, he played anyway. He runs over Strickland, gets a hold of the 6'4" Hollingsworth. The ball just comes popping out.
5 turnovers against Alabama tonight. Harvey Williams, little stagger step as he goes across the 25 to the 26. John Sullins, a sophomore out of Oxford, Mississippi, makes the tackle. We were talking before the ball game. Harvey really has the great sprinter speed. Had the knee surgery last year, missed the entire season. His longest gain this year was 9 yards back against Texas A&M. Kevin, you might discuss. Alabama is showing Hodson so many different things. How can he possibly know what the defense is?
Well, it's clear he didn't there. What Tommy's trying to do, he's trying to check off here. You can see him checking off, and he's going to call a play where he's going to roll to the far side of the field, right into the blitz. Here comes McCants, top of the screen. He's going to run right into McCants. That was not McCants. That was Ram, number 95, who had the outside contained. Tommy had to dump the ball. They are confusing him. Alabama doing a great job disguising coverages.
Hodson has missed 4 in a row. Throws it over the middle, incomplete. Tony Moss just couldn't get up high enough. Mangum, number 29, was on him like a blanket.
Well, one thing Alabama is doing too, their coverage begins about 15 yards downfield, and these patterns seem to be 15-yard patterns. If they would break them off a little sooner, there is a dead spot underneath. LSU appears to be trying to gain too much yardage.
Jelks, number 22, the deep man for the Crimson Tide. Bourgeois had a great first half. This one's not going to turn over. Good coverage kick, though. That touched an Alabama player, and the Tigers have recovered at the 35-yard line. 6 turnovers. Corey Raymond.
I got to tell you, Bourgeois is the MVP of this game for LSU so far. He's done a tremendous job kicking the ball, and that one just got lost. The Alabama people, the first thing you learn is to keep track of the ball. Number 31, Darrell Pickett, trying to throw a block. The ball, punted by Bourgeois, took a bounce back, hit Pickett, and recovered by Raymond. Big break for LSU.
This is Eddie Fuller. Trying to move behind the blocking of Miller and Truax, and listen to this crowd. Whoa. They are not happy with play selection.
Yeah, but LSU has not coped with the pass defense. If they are to change the pass defense, they need to simplify Alabama's defense by making them commit more people to the run. Then they can get some kind of defense they can deal with. They need to run the ball.
Over his fingertips.
They had what they wanted. They had man coverage. Hodson knew it. Fuller knew it. The ball just a little bit overthrown. He had him on a safety. Gardner, for one of the few times in the game, they knew exactly what they were looking at. Now Hodson comes back, and he's thrown it just to the center of the field. Man-to-man coverage, Fuller and Gardner, and he had him beating the ball just a step too far.
Look at this on 3rd down passing. Tommy is 0 for 8 tonight and 1 interception. Throws it, has it complete, and Lee diving for the first down. He's not going to make it. They're going to spot him out at the 27. Good try, Al. Oh, that's a great effort by Lee to try to get to the sticks.
Moss on the inside, and Lee. Moss goes outside. He's covered. He draws the defense a little deeper, and Hodson's going to get it underneath. And there's a good job by Hodson getting outside the contain and finding Lee. Now Lee needs to get upfield. Not quite there.
They'll go for it on 4th down, meeting the 25. Corner blitz is on. Incomplete. The Rover was coming on a blitz again. Tommy Hodson, an unhappy camper on the sideline. There's a timeout. Saturday, Alabama versus Louisiana State is brought to you by today's truck, Chevrolet. Nobody's running like the heartbeat of America. By SkyTel, that great communication system in the sky. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just alike. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley, Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 9 minutes, 53 seconds left in the 3rd. It is Alabama 17-3. And the Tide faithful are loving it. Houston, and he will be knocked down at the line of scrimmage. As let's go back to the last play, Kev, on the 4th down and 2 for LSU.
Well, great example of what Alabama is doing. Watch the left of your screen. 2 men on Wilson, the tight end. Now, what the receivers are supposed to do, Moss, as you see, is supposed to run a shorter pattern. And here's Tommy Hodson. He's not yelling at Halliburton. He's yelling at that man right there. That is the receivers coach. We'll get back to this in a minute. He wants those receivers to cut it off against the blitz.
Turner, 35 at the 40. That will be an Alabama first down.
Okay, what Hodson is doing, he's yelling at Jerry Sullivan, the receivers coach, telling him to tell the receivers they need to cut it. They need to read Osmond coming from the corner and cut that pattern off quickly so he can get the ball out there.
The tight end has got to brush and get to the open zone with the rover coming in.
There were 2 men on the tight end. Williams had 2 men to block. Osmond on the outside, the man on the inside.
Stacy crosses midfield down at the 46 as Robbie Green comes up from the secondary to make the tackle. Chris Robinette with a great lead block of the play, and there's a flag down back at the 43.
It's going to be clipping on Alabama. Bright spot for LSU is Robbie Green. I've said it before. I mean, he's going to be a sore kid tomorrow. But getting back to what we were talking about, Williams, Alabama had outmanned.
During the run,
there's a penalty.
Clipping on the offensive team, 15 yards and spot a foul.
Alabama, here's Hodson, and he's frustrated because Alabama's defense had 2 men on Willie Williams, the tight end on that side. No chance to block both of them, but the receiver needs to read that and break the pattern off immediately so Tommy, with no protection, can get rid of the ball and have someone to throw it to. You saw on the pattern that the receiver, Moss, ran too deep, and he just didn't have time to get the ball off. So a lot of people think Hodson didn't complete the pass, but there was no one there to throw it to.
Breaks the tackle in the backfield, and he's off to the races. Jimmy Young has a shot at him, and he won't get it. 72 yards. Stacy 72 yards, and the Crimson Tide now leading by 20. And Doyle makes it a 21-point margin at the 8:28 mark.
Watch Alabama's offensive line, left side. Strickland and Robinette doing a good job. Sandoya, 58. Had a shot in the backfield, and you will see this. Watch Sandoya, 58, right center of your screen. Now he reads it, gets in behind the blocking, has a shot at Stacy, does not get him, and then as he comes down the sideline, watch the positioning of the official. He's going to get between the ball carrier and the pursuit. Young couldn't get there. Touchdown, Alabama.
24-3. Alabama, the number 4 ranked team in the nation, looking for their 9th victory without defeat. And that, by the way, the run by Stacy, the longest of the year for Alabama, 72 yards. The longest was 64 by Stacy against Memphis State. Line drive kick taken by Wes Jacobs. Gardner makes the tackle on the special teams as Jacobs brings it out to the 30-yard line. Alabama has won since 1969 at this stadium. It is one of the toughest places to play in college football, and they have mastered that since '69. Drills the pass, intercepted. John Mangum looking for a block, and he's going to be tackled at the 49-yard line.
and jump into another. And when he goes back and tries to throw it, nobody there. Watch him change. All of a sudden, they're going to go back into a triple linebacker stack here. Hudson is already audible. And now you're going to see Mangum slide into the seam. There he is. Never saw him. Threw it right to him.
Stacy on the counter. Blocker in front. Cuts off a pin. Spinning off another tackler all the way down to the 31. Corey Raymond finally stopped him, but it's a gain of 18. Saran Stacy now 153 yards and 3 touchdowns on 14 carries, an average of over 10 per try. Lassick replaces him at tailback. Hollingsworth. Incomplete. Abrams, the intended receiver. 483 yards for the Crimson Tide, and we have 7:40 left to play in this third period.
Bill Curry was telling us yesterday about winning and losing. I said, but dangerous playing a 2-6 team, and he said, no, always more dangerous playing a winning team. They never think they can lose.
Lassick belted at the line of scrimmage. That's Miguel Ventress, who comes up to make the hit on him. And it's going to be a third down and long situation, something that Alabama has not been faced with that many times tonight. Pete Jenkins, the defensive coordinator for the LSU Tigers.
He's a good guy, old Pete.
Yep, he really is. Boy, he has had his headaches, has he not? Woo. LSU shows blitz. They stay at home. Hollingsworth delivers it. Lassick has it, but he's far short of the first down. He's at the 26.
Hollingsworth's pass is complete to Lassick.
Old Burge Osbury hanging in there. One of the things that Hollingsworth does so well, quarterback for Alabama, in just his 6th full game, he makes decisions quickly, and that's what made that play.
Philip Doyle, great numbers on him this year. 44 yards on the attempt. Has the distance, and he's good. 16 of 18 for Doyle this year. So we'll hold it right here at Tiger Stadium as these fans are kind of sitting on their hands right now when the folks from Tuscaloosa wearing red and white are doing their celebrating. They know that with each tick of the clock, they move a step closer to a share of the SEC championship. Let's take a look. These are the miscues in the ballgame and how LSU has not taken advantage, Kevin, of their misdoings tonight.
What's that 3 doing in there? It kind of messed up all those zeros. LSU with an opportunity. That's really a tribute to the Alabama defense and what a tremendous job they have done against a pretty good LSU offense. I talked about in the open. Last 2 games, they've generated over 500 yards a game. Tonight, completely shut down.
Everybody paints their face and comes out, and they have a good time at Tiger Stadium. Doyle, deep to the right side. It's going to be Harvey Williams. Fumbles it at the 5. He'll bring it back to the 17, but when he fumbled it, he was left uncovered. And London, that's the 3rd stop for him tonight in the special teams. Well, ESPN's College Football Saturday kicks off every week, 11:30 Eastern Time, with Bob Carpenter, Bino Cook, and Lee Corso. They'll preview the day in college football. Then at 12:30, we're off to the Big Ten. 3rd-ranked Michigan will visit Minnesota. At 4 o'clock, 18th-ranked Virginia travels to College Park, Maryland, to take on the Terrapins. And, of course, a win would give the Cavaliers an ACC title. And next week at 7:30 Eastern Eastern Time at Clemson and South Carolina. Kevin and I will be there. Harvey Williams a step away from breaking it. He's tripped up as he comes out to the 25. Steve Webb is the man who got a hand on his ankle.
For LSU, they just need to come up with something that works. It's a long way back, but there is some time left in the game. They need to force Alabama to commit to something, to try to stop something. They've been able to shut down the entire offense so far.
Harvey Williams, little skip step, brings it to the 25. He'll be short of the first down by a yard and a half. You know, we talked about in the pregame, LSU's offense averaging 509 yards the last 2 ball games, and tonight they have not hit the century mark as yet. Give credit to a great defensive scheme by Alabama and a super job by their defensive players. That is the first third down conversion for the Tigers tonight. They're now 1 of 11, and they'll move the chains as he gets near the 35-yard line.
Watch McCants. Now McCants giving him fits, jumping in, jumping out. He got kind of caught a little bit inside. And watch Harvey Williams, what he does so well. Cuts back inside the bulk of the defense, get those shoulders pointed upfield, and pick up a first down.
Good protection, but they're covered in the secondary. Gonna go long. Moss, and he dropped the ball. Tony has had some great games against Alabama. He turned it around last year. Just a little bit off his fingers as Mangum was trying to cover it.
Again, Hodson. Now, this is a good play by Hodson. He's going to wait all day for Moss. Gets pressure. He's still waiting for Moss. Got his eye on him. Okay, Tony, you're open. Little bit too long.
Wes Jacobs will come in and replace Moss after that long run. Fuller on the draw. Finds the crack in the seam with a great second effort. He takes it across midfield. George Teague hanging on for dear life. It's a run of 16 by Fuller.
Problems early in the year for LSU was the offensive line. They switched it by moving Chris Truax to the right offensive tackle. He gets a hold of McCants, does a nice job, and Eddie Fuller does the rest. The other change was they put Jim Ubix at left tackle, and it really helped. Good run by Eddie Fuller.
Fuller now with 74 yards. Inside with Egloff. Breaks it clear. Is going to have another LSU first down. So will mark his knee down at the 38. Keith McCants defensively for the Crimson Tide. You mentioned Chris Truax. You remember his dad? Great tight end here, Billy Truax.
Yes, I do.
All-American. Back in 1963, went on to play for the Rams.
I wasn't born yet.
I was, Kevin, and I even saw him play. Yeah. He was a big guy, but Chris is 292 pounds. Fuller. Oh, nothing this time. Boy, what a hit. That was Sullins who came up and made the stick on him. And consider one thing. Ventrice Davis, who is one of the real stalwarts on this Alabama defense, not playing tonight because of an injury to his ankle. Sullins is a backup, and he's been all over the place this evening.
This is a very fine defense. Don Lindsay, the coordinator for Bill Curry, has put together here at Alabama. Obviously, they give up less than 100 yards a game on the ground.
Blitz coming up the middle. Hodson gets it away, complete to Moss. I don't know about the first down. It is to the opposite side of the field of where the chains are. Kevin, he may have it.
Well, I caught him in a zone. I caught Mangum here. Oh, Mangum playing a little bit soft in the zone. And again, Hodson does a fine job of getting away from the blitz. There's McCants right up the middle. Nobody touches him. And he's going to get it over to Moss. And here comes Mangum playing deep in the zone and just popped Tony out of bounds. really impressed with Mangum. Mangum's played a super game.
Well, they're not going to have it. Just missing. You know, a guy like Mangum is a coach's dream. 5 interceptions this year. He has 1 tonight. All academic in the conference for the last 2 years. Academic All-American.
A natural safety. Both he and Ephraim Thomas. 9 interceptions, 41 knockdowns. That's right up to date in 1989. The 41 knockdowns may be more impressive than the 9 interceptions. Natural safeties playing corners and caught out there in man coverage quite a bit. They do a great job.
Victor Jones dives for the first down. So LSU has now converted a couple of times on this drive in 3rd down conversions, something they had not done the entire ball game.
Well, you build for next year in games like this. This game is not over, but you really need to develop some kind of momentum. Mike Archer was talking about Tennessee, and he likened this team to Tennessee, how they came around the last half of last year, and then bang, they were off and running this year. He wants that type of effort out of them for the remainder of the year.
Blitz up the middle. Pass. Intercepted. Ephraim Thomas. 10 interceptions between the 2 quarterbacks of Alabama this year. And I can tell you, Harvey Williams did not pick up a blitz in the middle, and Tommy had to throw it a beat too early.
Hudson not happy. This is a remarkable effort and reaction by Ephraim Thomas. There's Harvey, 22. Say goodnight. He gets a half a shoulder on it. Hudson threw the ball to the post. But Thomas coming across, he was looked almost like the receiver. Look at the frustration on Tommy Hudson, a senior. What a great career. The leading passer in LSU history, and he is not happy.
His night, 4 of 21, 3 interceptions, 29 yards. Breaks it out off the left side, still being pushed back. Roman. Now giving forward progress to the 12. It was Osbury who had a hold of it.
I would say that Osbury was on the verge of doing something nasty there when he caught himself.
Linebackers are never really easy to get along with, but when you're down 27-3, sometimes the temptation is there when you got a guy shoulder high. Little counter play. Watson breaks it big, and he's going to have the Alabama first down at the 19-yard line. Wayne Williams, a sophomore out of Brazoria, Texas, makes the tackle for the Tigers. Check some other scores. Washington, that's now final. Big over Oregon State. The Ducks win over UCLA. Arizona State, that in the 2nd period, leading the Cardinals. And UTEP is trailing Colorado State. That one also in the 2nd period. Stacy, right side, gets by one tackler. You see the Tigers trying to knock the ball out of his hands. Osbury is the man who had him in his grasp. Going to be a 2nd down and short. You know, something else that Alabama really has not been faced with that much tonight, and that is playing 2nd and long.
They've done a great job. I think we had that stat up in the first half. Yeah. That's almost 7 yards to carry on first down.
Stacy still on his feet. Will have the first down out to the 35. Mark Boutte defensively. We mentioned first downs. Alabama 381 of 500 total yards tonight have come on first down.
Well, that is basic football. If you get that going, you're not going to lose.
Play the game, but roll tide. Stacy, nothing doing right up the middle, takes it outside of left tackle and winds up with a gain of about 8 yards in the play. Tony Houston, junior out of Ruston. He was a starter early on in the year. In fact, I think he was a starter against A&M. But then was beaten out by Corey Raymond. He's the man who makes the tackle.
A lot thin. Where they began the year with a lot of depth, they're now very thin defensively and getting tired.
Boy, Cleveland wins a big one over the Celtics tonight. Vlasic hit in the backfield and knocked down for a loss. That may be the first negative yardage play by Alabama the entire evening, is it not?
Mark Boutte, normally the starting middle guard for LSU, has been in and out all night, just slips the center, gets into the backfield by picking a side, and is able to drop for a loss.
They fake the pitch. Hollingsworth going to do it himself and will leg it for the first down. That is first down as a marker goes down. That is 29 first downs for the Crimson Tide this evening. That is, if the marker is not against Alabama here, and Sanderson may have picked up a clip on the play.
Look at Bill Curry. Bill Curry's just yipping at somebody over there on the sideline. He knows he's got some games down the line he has to win, and he doesn't want any bad habits developed.
Flipping on the offensive team, 15-yard penalty, spot foul. Right into the run.
It's going to be on number 21, Greg Sanderson, and you might notice it's right in front of Bill Curry, which is bad enough to clip, but if you're going to do it, try to do it on the other side of the field.
Away from the head coach.
Away from the head coach, yes. Not good. Not under his nose is not good.
Shovel pass. Stacy going to be hemmed up as a flag comes down, thrown in the vicinity of Vince Strickland as he was trying to block at the 30.
I was going to say, what a block by Vince Strickland. Evidently, it wasn't such a good block. He's on Kenny Davidson, 77, and he held that block for quite a while. Held being the key word there.
Holding during the run. Offensive team decline. At the end of the quarter, be fourth down coming up.
So that's the end of the third period as we head to the final 15. The Crimson Tide, 27-3. Bill Smith back to kick for Alabama as we open the fourth period. He only punted twice in the first half. Good coverage kick, not real far. This is to Young at the 35. 40 yards in the kick, so let's take a timeout as the LSU Tigers try to get it going offensively. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley, Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge, 27-3. Crimson Tide leads. Victor Jones tries to take it to the right side. Nothing doing right up the middle, and he will be downed at the 40 by John Sullins. Gain of about 3 in the play.
Comes Todd Kinchin into the game. They do have a reverse pass that has worked. In fact, Kinchin has a 51-yard touchdown pass. To his credit, he's number 49. Inside wide receiver to the bottom of your screen. Just disappeared.
Pass complete to Walker. Gets it outside. 35, but it's going to be knocked out of bounds at the 30 by Lee Osmond.
What they did here, they sent Kinchin down deep. Little motion, they got Moss inside, just broke it off, got him the ball. Now, this is what Tony Moss does so well. Give him a little space, and he'll pick up a few. Look at who's chasing him, McCants again. The guy's all over the field.
What's amazing is to have that kind of size and that kind of speed. 30 yards in the pass play. Counted off at 7, now 8. Inside the 25 as Wyatt and Rayam combine in the stop for Alabama. The storyline on this one is we're a minute and a half into the fourth period. Total yards by Alabama, wow, that all speaks for itself. Over 400 yards different. LSU only 3 points off 6 turnovers. Stacy 3 touchdowns, 181 yards, and Hollingsworth 247 yards tonight. Huntington 3 interceptions.
12 of 14 in the second quarter for Hollingsworth. He had a big night, big first half.
It's a dead ball foul. Illegal movement, offensive line, false start.
It's been a tough year for Mike Archer. Problems with his junior class. He only has 7 remaining players in his junior class from an original 29. 27, actually, counting 2 transfers.
You know, the other number that you mentioned earlier tonight, such a significant point. 44 freshmen or redshirt freshmen of the 95 of this LSU team. Hodgson on the play action. Over the middle, Willie Williams drops the ball. Oh my. Sometimes the magic works and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, Willie Williams not really known for having the great hands, and that ball was thrown pretty hard, and it was thrown a little bit behind old Willie.
We had a touchdown in an opening ball game against Texas A&M.
Boy made a big reception too in the Auburn game last year. I remember it was a 4th down. It was Willie Williams that made the reception and kept the drive alive in that game.
Alabama sending people from everywhere. He's got 4 open. He'll have it for a touchdown.
Well, you know, Alabama has blitzed this formation all night and had success. 3 wideouts to the bottom right of your screen. Now Fuller, they also had this matchup on Gardner earlier. Remember, he overthrew Fuller? Not this time. Dropped it right in his hands. Gardner, no chance. Fuller went in. That's going to look good and feel good for LSU, you betcha, on the films when they watch it Monday.
Browndyke will not get a chance to get his 101st career extra point, consecutive extra point, because the Tigers are going for 2.
They need this and 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions to tie.
Halliburton, and it's intercepted by Osmond. Now this would be 2 points if he takes it the distance. Halliburton can't get to him, and he'll get it. He'll score 2 for the tie. SMU and went the distance. That is the 2nd interception by Osmond tonight.
I'm so impressed with this secondary. This has been that kind of year for LSU. Right here, I thought Osmond was getting a little greedy. Right here, I pitched the ball, but no, he's got people with hands on him. He says, I'm going for it. He picks up a nice block there. That was Ephraim Thomas, and Osmond, with not a whole lot to spare, got in the end zone, running out of gas there. It's got to be a thrill. Got to be a thrill.
Excuse me. 29-9. Boy, of his 10 interceptions, 4 in his career have come against LSU. We have mentioned a couple of times tonight that Baton Rouge is absolutely one of the toughest places to come in and play. But Alabama has just mastered this team here.
It's a pretty good football team, and I think, you know, when you're that good, Osmond's kind of a, you look at an unhappy Tommy Hudson. Osmond, when he was a kid, had a brother, John, an older brother who was in graduate school at Alabama, and a guy named Jack Frazier, and he used to play football against him. And Jack and John used to beat him to death. Then they'd let him get down to the goal line so they could play goal line defense. Well, Osmond grew up. Now they don't beat up on him anymore.
They're giving him 98 yards officially on that. His kick to good, 1 yard deep. Good, came within a couple of men breaking that one as he brings it back to the 26. Tony Houston on the special teams, making the stop.
Smith, whose brother gives him great encouragement now. He's in law school at Alabama, and they're both at Alabama now. And says that made him tough when he played against his brother, old Jack Frazier. 2 against 1 it was.
He's not grinning at the camera. I think that 98 yards got the best of it.
I'm telling you, but he had to run 100, he wouldn't have made it.
Stacy going to be hit at the line of scrimmage. Mark Boutte says, take my hands off of you. Boutte playing in the ball game with a sprained knee. Lost him for a couple of weeks. Had really been playing great this year. He is a sophomore out of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Turner across the 30 to the 31. Mark Boutte again. This is the SEC's all-time leading passer in his 4 career games against Alabama. 44%, 438 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions.
I don't know if that's so much a knock. That really appears to be a knock on Tommy Hudson, but I think it's the way Alabama plays defense. No, not you, not from you, but I think it appears to be a knock. If you're watching television, you think those are poor stats. A lot of that has to do with the receiver's ability to identify defenses. Alabama, the most complicated defensive team in the conference.
Corey Raymond makes the tackle on Stacy, and that will bring up a 4th down situation. And the clock runs with 11 minutes, 25 seconds left in this one. And Alabama has dominated throughout, 29-9.
I think let's get back to Tommy Hudson. I think, you know, when you think about Tommy Hudson in the future, you should be thinking about SEC titles, how he has hung in there and been durable for LSU.
Smith only his 3rd punt tonight. Great coverage kick. Fair catch being called for by Moss, and he makes it successfully at the 27. So we'll take a break. Just under 11 to play, and the Tide having their way. ESPN's College Football Saturday, Alabama versus Louisiana State, is brought to you by Volvo, the car that's famous for its safety, durability, and longevity. By Tempstar Furnaces, you can rely on the star. And by Gillette, and Gillette Atra Plus shaving system and Gillette foaming. Together, the best a man can get. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley in Baton Rouge. And there you see the story. 29-9, Alabama. Just under 11 minutes away from going 9-0 in the season. Screen to the near side to Harvey Williams. It's a block. Look out in the open field. He can do it in a hurry. 35, 25, and is knocked out of bounds at the 17-yard line by John Mangum. 57 yards.
Well, they haven't had any success downfield. It's a nice job by Hodgson. Going to get over the defense with the pass. There it is. Gets it to Harvey, and Harvey does the rest. He's going to cut inside across the great wide open field here once he gets inside. But watch the job Mangum does with Tony Moss, number 6. Moss trying to block him. The last guy, Mangum played him off, pushed him to the sideline, was able to get Harvey out of bounds. Dangerous weapon, Harvey Williams.
This time up the middle. Gets banged around as he nears the 12-yard line by Derek Rushton, a senior automobile who is coming replacing Ray. Flag is down, and it's going to be offensive holding against the Tigers.
Let me make a correction right here. I think I said there were 7 players from the 87 team left for Mike Archer. There are 13 players out of 27. Mike obviously still in the game, not happy with the holding call.
There's Ruffin Rodrigue, number 68, steps back into the huddle. His dad played here at LSU. In fact, 62, 63, and 64. Very good player. Thibodaux, Louisiana. He played both ways in high school.
pitcher will like that, especially after that last call.
The SEC standings, Alabama 5-0, then Auburn and Tennessee with 1 loss apiece. So here are the remaining games for Alabama. On the 2nd, it's Auburn. For Auburn, both teams get a week off. Then on the 2nd, they face off, and that one, of course, down in Auburn for the first time. For Tennessee, they still have Ole Miss, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt.
Grabbed a hold of his jersey, and Hodgson just laid it right in there. Oh, poor Gardner must feel picked on. Nice play.
Well, movement at the line of scrimmage, and a flag goes down. Dyke, as the penalty is going to be stepped off, is the all-time leading kick scorer in LSU history. He's hit 100 straight extra points.
Dead ball, illegal movement, offensive line, false start.
Has 55 career field goals.
But at 2 points that Osmond ran back, starting to look big in this game as we get down to it.
Distance makes no difference to Brown Dyke. And with 10 minutes, 7 seconds left to play, it's Alabama 29 and LSU 16. One more look as Fuller catches the pass over the middle to cut into the Tide margin. Well, it's a 13-point ball game, and as Mr. Kiley so astutely observed just a moment ago, that 2-point return by Alabama just a few moments ago by Osmond looms really big right now, because we still have over 10 minutes to play in this one. At the 18-yard line, Jones, and he will bring it back in the vicinity of the 25. LSU is going to continue this comeback without being overly obvious. They got to make a quick stop right here. By the way, SEC consecutive point after kicks. Van Tiffin of Alabama holds the consecutive mark at 135. David Browndyke has just moved into a tie for second place with Rex Robinson of Georgia. Browndyke out of Dallas, Texas. What a career he's had here. They give it to Russell, and the end around has the first down and about 10 more. As Bill Curry says, we still got some tricks left up our sleeve.
Russell, tight end, leading receiver, but not that big a guy. Lawrence needs to say immediately, reverse, reverse. As soon as he sees that tight end take off, you have to start screaming. They get the hook block on the other side, and he's loose on the sideline. Good call by Alabama.
Bill Curry made the statement to us yesterday. I'll tell you in just a moment. Stacy, blocker in front. Robinette trying to help out as he moves it out to the 50-yard line. Bill said this is not the most talented team that he's had at Alabama, but it is the best team that he has had at Alabama.
Said he knew it last February when they started winter workouts this spring. He had great workouts in the spring, and the team, from the beginning, this Alabama team just seemed to come together. And you think of the crippling injuries he's had to Murray Hill and at the quarterback position, and they have still continued to roll along.
You got great senior leadership on this ball club, and a lot of seniors. Turner out of the backfield will take it down in the vicinity of the 40. Faubacher makes the stop. Boy, in first downs, they got to be at least at 30 now.
Well, this is a very tough guy to cover. Here's your two wideouts running deep. Now you've got to have a linebacker or a safety come over and pick up that fullback, and it's very difficult. That was Faubacher trying to get the job done, but he's the last man out of the backfield usually, depending on the coverage. It'll be a linebacker or a safety.
Sharon Stacy tries to turn the corner, does partially as he goes inside the 35. Faubacher again on the stop. Martin Houston trying to block.
That was classic running by Stacy. He waited, almost stopped in full gallop, waited for his blocks for a hole to develop, had that instant acceleration and was able to get up in there. It was a good job by LSU defensively.
Boutte injured on the play. He had sprained a knee and had missed a couple of weeks. By the way, for Stacy now, 23 carries, 196 yards. This will put him close to the 200-yard mark. He led the junior colleges last year in scoring with 25 at Coffeyville Junior College. 5'11", 195 pounds, a junior from Geneva, Alabama. Uniforms look the same, but the scheme offensively and defensively had changed a lot for this Bama team.
Homer Smith on offense, Don Lindsay on defense. LSU needs to stop him on this series right here.
Stacy takes the pitch, going to bring it back inside. David Walkup is the man who's got him around the ankles. Primetime review. Colorado down by 14, and they came right on back. And the ball game was won.
17.
41 to 17. 17. Yeah. Scared me to death. Scared Colorado to death.
A late 50 by the Cowboys to pull it out.
Michigan wins over Illinois. Michigan now 6-0 in Big Ten play. Houston will go for maybe a half yard as the Crimson Tide will be confronted with a third down in about 4.5 yards. Leonard Harris is on the bottom of the stack for the Tigers. Some more prime time review for you. Miami, boy, they're a tough-looking team. 24-3. 50-2 in their last 52 regular season games. Of course, we had that ball game against Florida State a couple of weeks ago that they lost. BYU now sets up the showdown with Hawaii.
Will be there, and Miami will be looking at Notre Dame and zeroing in on them now.
Chris Fowler will have all the scores. The residents in scoreboard immediately following the ball game as Stacy finds no place to run. And coming on is Philip Doyle to attempt the field goal with 6 minutes exactly left in the ball game.
Well, Alabama ran 4 minutes off the clock on that drive.
This is going to be a 40-yard attempt. He has one of 42 tonight. Everything 40 and inside he has been perfect on this year. Plenty of distance, and he's perfect. Boy, the great teams have all the elements. That includes special teams, and the Tide has that as well. Well, you talk about a tough ticket. The folks around here are extremely excited about Dale Brown's basketball team, and the Twin Towers that you saw there just a moment ago, O'Neal and Roberts, just a couple of the reasons why. Then throw in Jackson and some other awfully good folks. The Tigers are going to be in the thick of not only the SEC race, but I think the national race. This is Harvey Williams at the goal line. Had a steam, and he takes a pretty good hit at the 15-yard line. That is London. That's 4 tackles for him in the special teams tonight. He's done a great job. Let's correct one thing we said. 41-17. And now the scoreboard, we have it correct. As Colorado won over Oklahoma State, as Colorado on their way to the Orange Bowl.
And I'd like to personally congratulate Bill McCartney and the Buffaloes. They went through a lot this year, set a goal, stuck to their guns, and they have made it. They're in the Orange Bowl.
Wilson finally drills it, and it is caught. That's Alvin Lee who got it. Nope, it's Fuller. That's right in front of the Alabama fans, and they're the ones that are booing. As LSU with 2 receivers right there in the vicinity, and Fuller came up with it.
Eddie Fuller is a 3rd or 4th cousin of guess who? Do you know? Pat Dye. You know that? And they tried to recruit him to Auburn. Pat came to Eddie's house and ate spaghetti with Eddie's mother, and Eddie still went to LSU. Excuse me, his coach.
At the 15-yard line, it's Keith McCants who comes up with the sack.
Now you're looking at me a little funny there. It was his high school coach. His 3rd or 4th cousin. Well, this has happened all night. McCants coming from the outside, too quick, too strong, overpowered the line. Yeah, it was his high school coach. Tried to get him to go to Auburn. Pat came down to the house and ate spaghetti, talked country with Eddie's mother, and Eddie said, I always wanted to go to LSU, and Eddie headed out.
McCants now with 12 tackles and 1 sack in this ballgame. Hodgson drills it, has it complete to lead, and he has possession, yes. Got a foot down at the 26, right at the yard marker. Well, we just showed you the video of LSU, the Dodge NIT first-round triple header on Wednesday on ESPN. And Kevin, I'm going to be at that last one, Loyola Marymount against UNLV. The biggest task this week is putting up the asbestos on the hoops out there in Las Vegas, because I have a feeling that one may be a 160 to 159 job.
They say the shooting arm on the UNLV guys is always bigger than their other arm. I wonder why that is. They're picking them for the national title this year.
They defeated that same Russian team earlier this week. Over the middle, that's Moss at the 45-yard line. They're going to spot him out to the 46 as Steve Webb made the tackle, but it's a gain of 20.
LSU is down 2 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions. There's going to be a flag down here. It's going to be on.
Graham is shaken up. It looks like a knee as he is limping off the field, as that marker is down back at the 24.
Personal foul. Offensive lineman strike to the face mask. Defensive player.
Blocking in the face mask. Al, I was going to say that LSU needs to get it in the end zone quickly, but that was from midfield.
You know, with Graham limping off the field, and we'll try to get a report on him, he did go off under his own power. The one area that Alabama has not really a weakness, but they don't have a lot of depth as far as those down 3 linemen. They can ill afford to lose him. Hodgson fumbles, and it's recovered by Jay Aglaw. Now that's what the constant switching and gaming on defense and blitzing will do. Just came out a little too quickly. And the ball back at the 10-yard line.
Well, the worst thing that can happen to a football player is doubt. Look at the Alabama defense. Switching around, making changes. Here they come inside. And Tommy looking at the defense, not paying attention to the snap, and he drops it. Any kind of hesitation, offensively or defensively, was brilliant.
Behind him. That's the reason for all the noise, the trouble hearing. Got Kenshin over the middle. Makes the catch, and he's going to be tackled at the 17 by Keith McCants. That's the first reception by Kenshin tonight.
It's a player that's really improved in the second half of the year. Coming off knee surgery, has taken a while to develop. One of the great athletes in Louisiana history, and they say he will be a great one.
Incomplete at the 45. Fuller is the man he was looking for. fourth down situation, LSU needing the 37. Trailing 32-16, they will kick it away as Bourgeois comes trotting out. Jelks, the deep man. Quite a story here. Probably could have been an all-star defensive back.
Or running back.
Yeah, and his knee just would not let it happen. Boy, Bourgeois has been a star of the game for LSU. This is a great punt all the way back to the 32.
Jelks came into Alabama in 1985 as a great running back, one of the great athletes in Alabama high school history. Got behind some people, actually played running back. I did the kickoff classic one year. We had a big game in the kickoff classic against Ohio State, then blew up his knee, went back to defensive back, has had knee problems. He cannot play. He can return kicks, but he does not have the mobility to play defensive back or running back now, but has done what he could for the Alabama team. A great story, a terrific young kid.
Saran Stacy to the 37-yard line. And now as the clock ticks down and the celebration is beginning to happen. I'm telling you, down in that corner of the stadium where the Bama red and white is in its fullest, they are feeling New Orleans, Louisiana and the Sugar Bowl. This will guarantee them a tie for the SEC crown.
Probably guarantee him a berth in the Sugar Bowl. That's not for sure. They will tie with Auburn or Tennessee, depending on what happens.
Stacy again.
The fact of the matter is they have beaten Tennessee. If they lose to Auburn, they tie, but Auburn will be ranked below them.
So with 60 seconds left in the ball game, there's a timeout on the field with Alabama 1 minute away from securing their first title since '81. College football Saturday, and it's been another fun one. There you see some of the buttons being worn here at Tiger Stadium by the Tide faithful. Sugar Bowl for Alabama, and we saw it painted on cars throughout the city today. Sugar Bound and Sugar Sweet. They're 60 seconds away from almost making that absolute. Lassick breaks it open from the 50-yard line. He's got a man to beat, and he'll be tackled just inside the 35-yard line. Ray Adams saved a touchdown.
Boy, that's a good player there, Derek Lassick. He's a heck of a player. Shows you how much depth they have here. Watch this run. LSU getting tired. There's one miss. That's Walkup playing on a bad foot. Another miss back there. Then finally drag him down. But he's a good little back, spinning and jumping around.
Boy, is he ever. Ever strong, New York. To the first down as Robert Jones will finally be knocked out of bounds, and that will stop the clock with 22 seconds left. See Miguel Ventress, redshirt freshman out of Port Arthur, limping back to the huddle. Came here to win a championship. In fact, when he came at 87 to Tuscaloosa, that's what he has always had as his goal, to win a championship. They are a step closer tonight, and when the headsets go off, that just about seals it away. Jones again, this should be the last play of the ball game as he takes it down to the 20-yard line. They're beginning to dance on the far sideline on the Alabama bench. Shower for Bill Curry, and he probably didn't feel a thing as his Crimson Tide, number 4 ranked nationally, now are 9-0. Mike Archer's ball club now 2-7.
I remember Bill Curry back in 1985. I was doing the ACC, and I can remember him at Georgia Tech. losing his tailbacks. Things weren't going too well. He pulled that program around, came to Alabama, never lost sight of his goals. And now he has just about reached the pinnacle. Number 4 in the nation with a shot, a solo shot at the SEC title. But first, they have to go to Auburn for the first time ever, and Pat Dye will be waiting for him down there.
Well, tonight's piece of players of the game are from the University of Alabama, Saran Stacy, and from LSU, Rene Bourgeois. And as a part of their continuing development of amateur athletics, Visa is proud to donate $1,000 to each.
Football with Coach Bill Curry. Brought to you in part by your local Coca-Cola bottler. Coke, you can't beat the feeling. By Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama. The Caring Company. By Golden Flake. One taste and you're stuck on Golden Flake. By AmSouth. At AmSouth, our people make life more rewarding. And by Ziegler. Since 1927, get the taste that's seasoned to please. Pick Ziegler. And now, University of Alabama head coach, Bill Curry.
Hello. For Alabama people, the trip to Baton Rouge every other year is one of the highlights. And getting off that bus, going to the stadium in Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, as an Alabama Crimson Tide player or coach, before the game starts, is one of the highlights of anybody's sport experience. And I've been doing this a lot of years, and I've never felt anything like you people escorting us to the locker room. The game was over before we got to the locker room. Our players were so jacked up. The only downside of that is we were so excited we couldn't handle the football. But the score of the game was 32-16. And we have now reached one of our intermediate goals. It's not the big goal, but it is one of the intermediate goals, and we've clinched a share of the Southeastern Conference Championship. We instructed our players this week that it's inevitable that a championship will occur in this program because it's obvious the direction that the program is headed toward. The only question is whether or not this football team wanted it to happen now badly enough to go take care of business. And we did that, even though it wasn't a particularly graceful performance. We did a lot of things well, and we were not going to be denied on this night. And believe me, the fans made a difference in that stadium. Our fans, I believe, were louder than the LSU fans, and that's really something when you consider the numbers. The key factors in the game, we could write a book about the key factors, and at the risk of coming off just a little bit hokey, I'm going to say that it really was the burning desire of our players that no matter what happened on the field, no matter how many times we turned it over, no matter how many times LSU got the ball with good field position, they were not going to win the game in this game, and I don't think it would have mattered who it was. And LSU did play hard against us. Our ability to control the ball for 640-some-odd yards was a big factor, and then a big defensive plays made a big difference in the game. At times that we had to have the interception, at times that we had to stop LSU when they had the ball on our 7-yard line because of a turnover. The defense came on and got the job done. At the half, LSU had 86 yards total offense and 4 first downs. At the half, we had 338 yards total offense, 20 first downs, but only 17 points because we handled the ball so poorly. LSU won the toss. We kicked off. Phillip kicks the ball through the end zone. I believe Phillip Doyle is the All-American kicker this year. He's 17 out of 19 in field goals. He's done a great job of kicking off. I can't imagine that anybody's done a better job than our place kicker. Willie Wyatt breaks up that pass, and I believe Willie Wyatt is an All-American nose guard, the best in America this year, in my opinion. And there's Saran Stacy for 7 yards. Gary Hollingsworth on the bootleg to Lamont Russell, who had another big night for us. That's 5 yards and a first down. That's just the beginning. We had 33 first downs in the game. Kevin Turner, reliable, out of the backfield, had 7 catches on the night. Here Thomas Raham chases Hodgson out of the pocket. And we come up with the sack. That's George Thornton, who's played tremendous football for us this year. Harvey Williams, the great tailback, the great talent from LSU, is tackled by John Sullins there John played in place of Van Treese Davis and did a terrific job for us. Had 7 tackles. Keith McCants had 13 tackles on the night. He was all over the field and played a great game. And I also believe that Keith is worthy of All-American honors and any other honors that are given to linebackers. Gary Hollingsworth here on the sprint out to Marco Battle. Marco's given us outstanding leadership as the offensive captain this year. That was 10 yards. Martin Houston, who's growing up every week and just getting better and better. That's a 16-yard gain. We got down there and threw an interception. It was really unfortunate. We dropped a touchdown pass in the end zone, threw an interception, and really sort of kept LSU in the game during the first half. Great tackle here by Efton Thomas, who's been such an outstanding corner for us. Can't say enough about the way our defense just snuffed LSU in the first half. Here's Hodson, big play by John Mangum. Lee Osment with the interception, a little fancy footwork there. Lee was feeling his oats. I think he's remembering his old receiver days. We didn't do anything with the ball, and they got it back. And again, we're all over them defensively. John Sullins, Keith McCants there breaking up the pass. Here's Hodson, call for intentional grounding. And we get the ball back. Their punter did an outstanding job. I thought we could break a punt return, but they really covered well. Saran Stacy on the screen. Excellent blocking out there by Roger Schultz, Chris Robinette, Trent Patterson, and good running by Saran Stacy. Derek Lassett, who's another outstanding young player who just gets better every week. That's a 9-yard gain. Here he is for 8 more, just about to break these things time after time. Great enthusiasm. Our team was so emotional. First time we've played with that kind of emotion, and it actually was not productive for us because I think it was the reason for the turnovers. We would go in for our first score. We finally got it in the end zone after piling up an awful lot of yards and first downs and turning the ball over. Gosh, it seemed like an awful lot of times early in the game. But it is 7-0 as we end the first quarter, and it is obvious that we are dominating the football game. We'll be back with the second quarter after these messages. Ball there, 46, and here's Fuller off the right side, really wide on the tackle. John Mangum up there, John Sullins. Pressure all night, thanks to our defensive coaches. For some reason, that was not called intentional grounding. We go right down and fumble the ball at the 7-yard line, and the defense comes in and just shuts them down. There's Wyatt and Sullins on the tackle, a 2-yard gain. On the reverse, Kinchin off the right side. Charles Gardner makes the play, and they're forced to take the field goal so that the score is 7-3, and that was, I think, the biggest series in the football game. Here on the bootleg that you've seen so many, many times, Hollingsworth, great accuracy to Lamont Russell for 22 yards. Here's a shovel pass, a little bit different variety that Coach Smith put in this week. Going to the outside, Derek Lassett with his tremendous speed gains 5 there. Here's the play action. Hollingsworth, good presence to Prince Wembley. We're just trying to get Prince to show a little more enthusiasm when he plays. Everything's exciting to this football team. You'll notice they never get Martin Houston on the ground here. Very difficult to get the big man down. And here on one of the fine runs that you'll ever see, and we'll replay it, and this is what I mean by burning desire. That is just phenomenal effort behind just fair blocking by Saran Stacy. Just fair. We do get the turnout. Chris Robinette does a good job. Our center does not block particularly well. The free safety's right there to make the play, along with the corner and the linebacker, and Saran just drags him in the end zone. It's reminiscent of Bobby Humphrey's run 2 years ago when he did something similar in the fourth quarter. So now with the extra point, it's 14-3 in the second quarter. On the sprint out, Gary Hollingsworth, Craig Sanderson, nice catch by Craig there. And here from the shotgun, good throw and catch. Kevin Turner, very deceptive in the way he breaks tackles and runs through people. He's very strong. Tribute to his hard work in the weight room. One of Rich Wingo's favorite products. There's Marco Battle. An 8-yard gain. Saran Stacy almost breaking this for a touchdown. 11 yards and a first down. Here on the screen to Kevin. Good blocking by Robinette. Great block by Short. Excellent blocking by Trent Patterson. And we get it down inside the 20-yard line. Saran Stacy on the draw play. Again, inside the 10. And we get penalized and go back to this 3rd and 19 here. Excellent throw and catch. Hollingsworth to Prince Wembley. Nice throw to Saran Stacy. It's not enough for the first down, so we punt the ball, caused them to start at their 20-yard line. The ball did go in the end zone, but McCants makes the hit here. Charles Gardner rakes the ball out, and with 12 seconds left in the half, we've got the football on their 30-yard line. I thought this was a very significant series here. Just this one play. Good pass protection by Saran Stacy. Nice throw. Excellent catch by Marco Battle down to the 5. Philip Doyle comes on and converts, and as the half runs out, we go up 17-3. Now, bear in mind, we had 20 first downs. We had 338 yards. They had 4 first downs, and we've only got 17 points on the board, and that made me very nervous. If you keep a team like LSU in a game, there's a good chance they can make a run at you, and you know they're going to, and they did in the 4th quarter. We'll be back to look at that after halftime. Purpose and unselfishness. Those attributes and other Christian attributes are being taught better than I've ever seen them taught at Big Oak Boys Ranch by John Coyle and his marvelous staff. And John, we're just really proud of what you're doing.
Coach, thank you. And the boys that live with us right now number 72, and we're soon getting ready to have 8 girls living just outside of Birmingham, and all of these children will be given a chance to be champions as we teach them about excellence in life.
To begin the 3rd quarter, we get the football, and like a lot of folks, they just would not kick it down to Gene Jelks and Pierre. They tried one later, and Pierre almost broke it for a touchdown. So young Robert Jones out of Birmingham does a great job of breaking tackles and getting us good field position to start the 3rd quarter. Here's Kevin Turner, again, just running over people. He may not look real impressive until you try to tackle him. He's just all man. Martin Houston running through first. Great work by our fullbacks. And I have to say, Coach Walter Lewis has done a great job with our young players. Saran Stacy, who's never played here. Derek Lassick, who hasn't played. Martin Houston, who hasn't played. They're both redshirt freshmen. Here, Hollingsworth shows his speed here. And takes it up the middle for a first down. Saran off the right side for another first down. But we got the ball knocked loose and turned it over again. Again, in one way, one of the most frustrating games of the year, because at this point, we should have had maybe 40 points, and we just don't have them. And it's very frustrating and frightening when LSU's got that phenomenal talent coming on the field on offense. So, but our defense kept shutting them down. And this play, we had actually been penalized. It was first down and 23 yards to go, and Saran goes 72 yards, outruns everybody. Breaks the tackle at the line of scrimmage where the linebacker runs through on the counter off tackle play. You'll see 58 on the backer run through here, and we miss him. And he had Saran in the backfield, but Saran's just so difficult to tackle. Good block by Trent Patterson. Great move right here to beat the free safety. And then he wisely uses Charlie Abrams and even the official to go the distance. Saran had over 200 yards rushing on the night. And so at the extra point, the score is 24-3. The defense comes right back with another one of those big plays that I discussed earlier in the broadcast. John Mangum. Now the believe, has at least tied the all-time interception record. He's very close. I'll have to check that. I'm not 100% sure. Great running by Saran. Excellent block by Terrell Chapman, who continues to give us fine play at the right tackle spot. Philip Doyle, a 44-yarder off that nice grass down at LSU, and the score is 27-3. Jeff Wall continues to do a great job of holding for us. Mike Vermeil and John Sullins in on that tackle. Ephraim Thomas. Good play on the post, excuse me, to get the interception. And one thing that we were able to do again in the game against LSU, which we've done repeatedly, is to drive the ball off the goal line. When we start down inside the 10-yard line, our objective is to make at least one first down so that we never have to punt out of our end zone. And even though we did not go the distance here, as you see the outside shovel pass, good blocking by Vince Strickland there, we at least drove it off the goal line so that we could punt the ball and start the other team deep in their territory. And that ends up paying off, even though LSU did make the inevitable run at us in the fourth quarter. We'll be back with the last quarter in the game after this. LSU with the ball at their 37-yard line. And Victor Jones, one of their many fine running backs, tackled by John Sullins, who was in there all night doing a great job. Steve Webb all around the football as well. And the very thing that we knew would happen, Hodson's going to hit some things in the game. There's just no way to avoid it. Here's another big play. It seemed like we always answered one of their big plays with one of our own. And Lee Osment, with his blazing speed, goes down the sideline. Actually, we tease Lee all the time, but he was running very fast for about 40 yards. I think there was about 40 yards when he hoped that nobody would catch him, and then about 60 where he hoped somebody would. I think we came very close to a delay of game penalty during the run here. But the nice thing about Lee is that it gives everybody time to catch up and throw a block for him when he has to run 100 yards. This was a big play because rather than 8 points here, in essence, LSU ends up with 4 points. What does that mean? Well, they get 6, but we get 2, so you deduct the 2 from the 6. And watch Keith McCants with his great hustle. Steve Webb hustling there, right? Boom, Keith McCants right there. Knocks down one guy. Ephraim Thomas gets the last one, and Lee takes the ball into the end zone. So instead of 27 to 11, it's 29 to 9. And here's LSU with the ball back again after a tremendous screen run by Harvey Williams that they blocked very well, and they come back and score again on us. So now it's 29 to 16, and we have to go to our bag of tricks. Lamont Russell on the reverse, and we managed to control the football and keep them from scoring again. There's still 10 minutes left in the game here. They scored 2 in 4 minutes time. Kevin Turner, Gary Hollingsworth showing excellent presence and accuracy. And Stacy, good patience, waiting for his blocking to form. And once again, when they score, we score. Even though we didn't get the touchdown, we were very cautious as we approached the goal line. And now that we record the final score with 5 minutes and 28 seconds remaining, Keith McCants, and as I said, has got to be the finest linebacker in America, makes the sack. Derek Lassick here, breaking tackles, almost goes the distance. He really wanted to score this thing. We weren't trying to score another touchdown. We were simply trying to run the clock out. And here's Robert Jones, another of our fine young tailbacks, who runs it out for the final. 32 to 16 in a great victory that assures us a share of the conference championship. And the players obviously were very excited, and I know you'll enjoy listening to some of them talk about it.
The kicking off of the grass tonight and the kicking off the grass at Penn State was a little bit different, wasn't it?
Yes, Penn State's grass was different than the other grass we played on this year. Their grass tend to lay down a lot more, and tonight the grass we played on was Tremuta, and I seemed to kick the ball well tonight.
Lee Osment, we always say answer a score with a score, and you answered one pretty quick tonight. That's the first time we've seen that 2-point play.
Well, I can't say it was pretty quick, but it took a little bit of time for the play to formulate, you know. And, I made the pick and I ran first 60 yards pretty good, and then got a little tired. I started looking for somebody to pitch the ball to, and nobody showed up. And I got kind of mad, and I said, well, I got to run the other 40 yards too, I guess. Before the play, Coach Curry told me to take a minute and a half off the clock. I took 37 seconds, so, I was pretty pleased with the plays.
John Mangum, you tied Alabama career interception tonight, and you hung back in the middle, which you don't get to do much.
Yeah, well, Ephraim Thomas was in man-to-man outside, and I was playing a flat coverage on the number 2 receiver, and he kind of worked down inside, and I followed him in, and Hodson threw the ball right to me. I don't think he saw me at all, and it was just, I was just fortunate to be there.
Saran Stacy, great game tonight. We ran the ball a lot, and you had one really spectacular run on a counter sweep.
Yes, it was a kind of off-tackle play, and, I think we caught their defense, a little off guard, and, Trent and Terrell Chapman came out and made 2 really good blocks, and it opened it up for me.
But you made a pretty good move on that cornerback over there.
Well, you always got to make one guy miss. You can't block everybody.
Leaves us 9-0 and 6-0 in the conference, and I don't want anybody to be deceived to think that we're satisfied with where we are. We have a lot of work to do. We have a big game coming up with Southern Mississippi. The incredible thing about this football team, and you have to realize this, and if you know football, you've already figured it out, we have yet to play the way we ought to play football. We played a great defensive game against Kentucky. We played a great offensive game against Tennessee. Our objective is to put it all together and be the kind of football team that we can be for 60 minutes with all of it together. So you be in Tuscaloosa with us for the Southern Miss game, and we'll take another step forward.
Crimson Tide football with Coach Bill Curry has been brought to you by Golden Flake. One taste and you're stuck on Golden Flake. By Ziegler, since 1927, get the taste that's seasoned to please. Pick Ziegler. By Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama, the caring company. By AmSouth. At AmSouth, our people make life more rewarding. And by your local Coca-Cola bottler. Coke, you can't beat the feeling. When visiting Tuscaloosa, stay at the Sheraton Capstone Inn.
Tonight's win over LSU, well, it was so sweet, it has a Tide tasting sugar, as in the Sugar Bowl. With the win, Bama clinched at least a tie for the SEC championship and closed in on clinching a trip to New Orleans. Tiger Stadium is known as one of the noisiest college football stadiums in the land. The decibel level got up there last night, but in the end, Alabama fans were the ones making all the noise. Not that LSU fans didn't get plenty of chances to yell. 5 Alabama turnovers kept LSU fans and their Tigers in it longer than they should have been, really. But Alabama had Saran Stacy, and Alabama had Tommy Hudson's number, an unlucky number 13, and that was enough. In fact, that was plenty. Hodson got intimately acquainted with the Alabama defense.
Hudson's a very good quarterback. Once you let him get warmed up, he can burn you anytime. And I think our key to our success was getting up in his face, making him throw bad passes, making him throw passes when he didn't really want to throw them.
I have to give that credit to the defensive staff, these coordinators. They didn't want to design it for it to happen. They needed me, and I was there.
And while Hudson was running for his life, Stacy was running for 211 yards and 3 touchdowns. 9 of those yards the hard way here to help give Bama a 17-3 halftime lead. But it was this 72-yard thing of beauty in the third quarter that really turned the tide.
You know, each game you just want to go out and do the best you can. And, you know, this game, I started off slow in the first half. And, you know, fortunately, you know, I put it all behind and had a better second half.
You're able to overcome some turnovers, too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that, you know, I really got down on myself after the 2 turnovers. And, you know, I have to credit the guys, you know, standing there with me and picking me up, you know, and just telling me, you know, you get over it.
But Alabama almost started celebrating a quarter too soon as LSU got on the board with a pair of fourth-quarter scores. But even 2-point conversions turned out to be an adventure for the battered boys from the Bayou. Hodson was picked off in the end zone by Lee Osment, who weaved and stumbled his way the length of the field. All that for 2 points. Maybe they should have given him 3 or 4. Well, it was fun to watch anyway, and it was a fun game to watch for Alabama fans. Alabama hadn't won an SEC championship since 1981. Thankfully for the Tide, that streak is over now. Alabama hadn't lost to LSU here in Baton Rouge since back in 1969. Thankfully for the Tide, that streak isn't over.
I mean, we're all so close together, and everybody wants to win for each other, and I think that's what we do. That's why we play so hard, and we love each other, really do. It's poetic justice because this team has been through so much adversity. In the 4 years I've been here, it's paid off.
I told the men this week, there's no question we're going to win a championship in this program. The only question is, do you want to do it now, or do you want it to happen another time? If you want to do it now, let's go ahead, because it's obvious that the program is moving in the right direction.
Big win.
Supers of the week by the conference office. Tackles Vince Strickland and Terrell Chapman. Guards Chris Robinette and Trent Patterson. Center Roger Schultz, and tight ends Lamont Russell and Charlie Abrams. He helped Alabama rack up 644 yards of offense, averaging 7.2 yards a play in that 32-16 victory over LSU. One more win, and you can put Bill Curry down as the SEC Coach of the Year as well. In a moment of reflection Saturday night after that title-clinching win over LSU, the third-year coach talked about how his team got to this point.
We had to win in a variety of ways. We've had to play a determined, hard-nosed team. Our team was sick as dogs, and suck it up in the heat in the fourth quarter to avoid another big embarrassment. We've had to come from behind, way behind. We've had to come from a little bit behind. We've had to go out and overcome a game and just stopping them at the 7-yard like they did at Penn State. We've had to block a field goal, and I think what happens is that the team begins to understand why we practice. Why do we practice when they go for 2 points? What are we going to do if we intercept? Why do we practice our field goal block? And I believe that the fact that those things have worked and that we've needed them has probably helped us a lot.
Dave Dravecki has
tossing these little things around up in Tuscaloosa as Alabama, it appears, has locked up a trip to the Sugar Bowl New Year's Day. We'll have a report from Tuscaloosa. Also, we'll talk about Auburn's big win between the hedges at Athens. For all practical purposes, Alabama wrapped up a trip to New Orleans New Year's Day today, rolling to an impressive 37-14 win over Southern Miss at Tuscaloosa's Bryant-Denny Stadium.
There are many advantages to wearing the crimson and white. Alabama's facilities are among the finest in the nation, and Tide players enjoy the national exposure that comes from playing for a major college power. But the greatest perk of all is the excitement that comes from putting it all on the line and playing for the championship. The excitement that Bama felt on a Wednesday night in November when the Tide went into the Tigers' den at LSU. All the months of hard work and preparation came together as the Tide rolled over LSU in true championship style. Gary Hollinsworth led a balanced attack that rolled up 644 yards of total offense. Hitting on over 63% of his passes, Hollinsworth connected with 7 different receivers for 257 yards. The Tide rushed for 387 yards, 211 coming from Saran Stacy. Alabama's offensive line was so dominant that it was named SEC Offensive Player of the Week. While the Tide offense was moving almost at will, the defense crushed LSU. LSU quarterback Tommy Hudson managed only 12 yards passing in the first half. This was Alabama's night, These men had worked too hard, had come too far. They would not be denied. It had been a long, hard journey from the hot practice fields of August to this night of jubilation. But these young men had never faltered along the way. With faith in each other and a determination that could not be quenched, they fought their way to the top. Now they could take their place alongside the legendary Bama teams of old. For now, they too had earned the right to be called champions.